Thank you so much for being here. I'm now calling this March 4th, 2026 meeting of the ASU Senate to order. We will start with introductions, names, pronouns, and positions. Senate seat 1.
You guys, so if you're hi, I'm Xander, PFC Senate seat 1.
Hi, my name is Marisol. I'm PFC Senate seat, PFC chair.
I'm Meme, PFC Senate seat 4.
I'm Logan. I'm seat 5 CFC and I'm seat.
Hi, I'm Piper. I'm CFC seat 6 and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Sam, Senate seat 8 DFC, and I use he, him pronouns.
Hey guys, my name is Bella. I use she, her pronouns. I'm DFC Senate seat 9 and also the DFC chair.
Hi, I'm Olivia Heffernan. I use she, her pronouns. I am DFC. Everybody, my name is Ed. I use she, her pronouns. Those are young. The academics. All of these. Classics, I'm very literature, technology, theater arts.
What's up, y'all? I'm Subu, Senate seat 14.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cole Stevenson. I use he, him pronouns. I am the academic committee chair and academic team representing the School of Psychology.
Hi everyone, my name is Ami Purdue. I use she, her pronouns, and I represent the School of Music and Dance and the College of Design, and I'm seat 16.
Hi, my name is Dre. I use they, them pronouns. I hold Senate seat 17.
My name is Robin Bailey. I use he, her pronouns. I represent School of Journalism and Communications.
Hi guys, my name is Bridget. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm Senate seat 21. I represent undecided and first year students.
I'm Sarah Questenberry. I use she, her pronouns, and I am Senate 23.
The SGPS representative. Hi, my name is Erin Ludeman. I use she, her pronouns. I'm Senate seat 20 in the voters.
My name is Quadrian Gill. I'm Senate seat 7 CFC, and I am the Senate Speaker.
My name is Max Jensen. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm ASU Vice President.
Thank you all so much. If we could have a senator read the land acknowledgement. Understand?
The University of Oregon is located on Kalapuya Lihue, the traditional indigenous homeland of the Kalapuya people. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. Today, Kalapuya descendants are primarily citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, and they continue to make important contributions to their communities, to the UO, to the lands now known as Oregon, and to the world. In following the Indigenous Protocol of acknowledging the original people of the land we occupy, we also extend our respect to the 9 federally recognized Indigenous nations of Oregon: the Burns Paiute Tribe, the Confederated Tribes of the Coos, Lower Umpqua and Siuslaw Indians, the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, the Confederated Tribes of the Uintilla Indian Reservation, the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, the Coquille Indian Tribe, the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, and the Klamath Tribes. We express our respect to the many more tribes who have ancestral connections to this territory, including the Chinook Indian Nation and Fort McDermott Paiute, the Shoshone tribes, as well as to all other displaced Indigenous people who call Oregon home.
Thank you, Senator Smith. And I'll now read the ASU mission statement. The purpose of ASUO is to provide for the social, cultural, educational, and physical development of its members, UO students, and for the advancement of their individual and collective interests, both within and without the university. And then next, we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Senator Peters.
I move to approve the agenda.
Motion made by Peters, seconded by Questenberry. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the agenda is now approved. Moving forward into announcements, do we have any senators or members of the public wishing to make an announcement? Senator Fauché.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. My name is Luke Fauché. I'm the Secretary of Organizing here at ASUO, and I use he, him pronouns. I'm here to give you guys a bit of an update about the implementation of the University Appeals Board reform resolution that we all passed a while back. So Priscilla's the president. Back. We met with members of admin Diane Tranhuaquio and Jimmy Howard to discuss implementation, and they had some concerns. So there's good news and bad news, right? The good news is that they admitted that they haven't done a very good job communicating with us in the past about like getting members and students on this board. They currently have 3 undergraduate students on the board, which is kind of shameful, and about 5 law students. And so, and to be honest, they do have a point. What they said was that we currently don't have enough students to make this reform possible, among other things. And so we need to prove to them that we can make this reform possible and that students do matter and that we do care about shared governance. They just haven't put in the work, and it's our job now. It comes down to us. And so with that being said, I wanted to invite all of you, including members of the public, pay attention. This is support for you too, because this is an opportunity for all of you to serve on the University Appeals Board. So very briefly, and Aaron, if you could, yes, there's a QR code. If everyone could stand it, and that'll give you guys the application. So in case you don't know, the University Appeals Board deals with appeals for student code of conduct cases. That means if a student goes through the code of conduct process and they appeal it, right now, one student, along with a faculty member and another person, can sit on that board. We're trying to increase it to 3 students, but to do that, we need people who are on the board. So the way it works is you would apply, you'd go through a quick training, you get approved, and then you can do as many or as little appeals as you want. It's not a big time commitment. I know that's a concern for some people, but basically you just apply, you are able, they'll send a Zoom link, they'll send a link, and you can fill out an interest for every appeal, and then they'll send you the information, you'll go to a Zoom, you'll do deliberation with a few other members, and then you'll do it. So that's it. And it's up to you to decide how many you want to do. So if everyone could apply to that, that would be huge. It would mean a lot, and it would also show that this resolution that you guys all voted on, it has teeth, that students are actually willing to. And I invite you guys to all do the same. I think it's I invite everyone to do it, but especially if you're interested in studying law, if maybe you're interested in policy or doing any sort of deliberation, it's especially good on the resume. So I really appreciate it, and feel free to talk to me about it if you guys didn't get it. But thank you so much, Senate. That's all I have for you.
Real quick, there was a question, Senator Smith.
Of course.
So do they like interview and select a certain number of people, or is it just unlimited?
So there is no limit to how many students can be on the board, and the goal is to get as many as possible to show that students actually care. They could, but basically what Diane has told me, she's the director of the office, is right now they are almost begging students to get on because they currently have 3 undergraduate students, and I am one of them. And so we really need students. Normally in an average year, they ask for 8 from ASUO and then find other ones elsewhere, but we don't even have 8. And we're trying to get as many as possible because we want to increase the quorum on the board. So we need more students for that to actually work. And so this is us fulfilling that promise in that part of the park.
Thank you. How many faculty?
That's a great question. I don't know exactly how many faculty are currently on it. There's at least one faculty has to sit on every appeal, and I know that Diane has only found one new faculty this year. But there's no term limit, so for faculty, it's a little bit less of an issue, you know?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Sorry to run away like that.
There is more questions, but just a comment. Today, I did present this to the UO Senate Exec Committee, and Jimmy Howard was there, and he basically was like, students are unreliable, and that's why they shouldn't be on these committees, essentially, and was like, there's privacy concerns, and really using every excuse under the moon. So like, filling out this form is important. It makes a statement, shows that like students do want to be on these boards, but it's really like a matter of access. Like even with our committees that I've appointed you guys on, like half of you haven't even been contacted back. And so I brought up these concerns and brought up how like there's an institutional problem on the school side of actually wanting to participate in shared governance because like these systems are in place, but they don't really invest in it. But this is us kind of showing them like this is something students care about, and this is something that like will show up when they don't. Senator Chisholm.
That's a good question. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know the specifics of the time. I can tell you how it worked for me, which was very slow, as many bureaucratic things are. I applied, and I would say about 2 to 3 weeks later, they contacted me. Then a week or so after that, there was a training, and then they have to do another thing. The training is like their interview. It's just to make sure like you understand it. After that, you are on the board. So if I had to guesstimate, I would say about a month, but that's coming from me, someone who doesn't actually know the process. It could be longer. The point is as much to apply to, as long, I think most, if not all, would get accepted. But the point is to show that there is interest in this, that students do actually care about this, and that we do care about shared governance, because they use the excuse of us not applying after they didn't even try to reach out to us to say that we don't care, which is frankly absurd. Yeah, any other questions?
Senator O'Neill.
Moving my flag.
Oh, okay. That's it. Thank you so much, Luke. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Hope to see you soon.
Also, for senators that didn't stay the floor, I will put it in the chat if you want to reference.
Any other announcements? Senator Steele.
Ken sent out a thing today, but just like considering when people come up for events and whatnot, the scheduling event services, like major event spaces, are no longer available. And also, I was just talking with my supervisor about something that like we could advocate for is just expanded building hours for certain buildings like Straub and things like that, because even on like their office side, they've tried their best, and I think like us being representative of students, and it's been like a space for a lot of cultural orgs to meet, and it's really put a burden on us to have like the limited hours, and on the clubs because they can't meet as well, and it's just difficult all around. So I think I'm not making it work.
You want to respond?
They need to hire more workers.
That concludes the announcements. We'll move into public forum. Does anyone make a comment for public forum? And we'll move into financial business. Currently, surplus is at $287,679, and unallocated reserve sits at $20,005. Our first surplus request is from the first generation college grads. Did we have a representative from first generation college grads?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you so much. Feel free to introduce yourself and just share a little about your request.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to present. My name is Edward Stoddard. I am a second year law student here at UO, and I am the president of first gen college grads. First gen college grads, or FGCG, was created as a support group that makes up only about like 22% of law students nationwide. So essentially, despite the resilience and drive that it takes to reach law school without family history of higher education, first-gen students are often overlooked and underconnected in the legal profession. So essentially, FGCG's mission at UO Law is really to help bridge that gap. We do this by connecting first-gen students with hiring managers in large firms and federal courts, hosting career development programming, and providing practical guidance on building competitive applications. So today we are requesting about $250 in surplus funding to purchase graduation cords for our first generation graduating students. These cords would serve as a visible symbol of perseverance, achievement, and identity. For many first-gen students, graduation represents not just personal success, but a generational milestone, right? Recognizing that accomplishment publicly reinforces belonging, builds community, and signals to incoming students that they too have a place in the legal field. The requested funds would go directly to purchasing these cords for graduating members, ensuring equitable recognition without imposing additional financial burden on students who are often already navigating law school with limited economic resources. We appreciate your consideration and your support in helping us celebrate and uplift first generation students at UO Law. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edward. As a first generation student myself, I definitely appreciate all the work that you guys are doing here on campus to support students, imposter syndrome, and all those things. Moving into questions, we'll start with Senator Questenberry.
Hello, it is good to hear from you. I am the senator who covers the law school, so I love hearing law requests, and especially this one. This group is really important in the law school, connecting first gen students to the resources that they need. So I'm going to make the motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to group first generation college grads, OS number OS38, to existing line item merchandise in the amount of $250.
Motion made by Questenberry, seconded by Stevenson, and we'll move forward with questions.
Yeah.
With Senator Heffernan.
Sorry, I was gonna make the motion, but I was gonna take it from now.
Realize that while I make the motion.
Would you like to amend your motion?
You want to yield to me? Yeah. Okay, I move to amend to authorize spending from unallocated reserves for first generation college grads, OS number OS388, to existing line item merchandise in the amount of $250.
Motion made by Questenberry, seconded by Stevenson. We are going to vote real quick, and this is just a vote to change the number of the motion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion is now changed to unallocated reserve. Did you have any more questions?
No, I yield.
Senator Smith? I yield. Senator Bailey?
You didn't want to make two line items, did you? Because in the form, there's like two line items, but I'm pretty sure you probably just want the one merchandise line item.
Did you mean to make two separate line items?
No, I don't. No, I did not mean to make two separate line items. I think as I was going through the form, I think I remember. I think I have an idea of what you're talking about. In the form, like it had like one portion where where I should create a line item if there isn't one, and then like not too far. Like I think it might have been like the next line down where it was gonna ask where it was asking me something along the lines of like, okay, well, like if you don't have this line item, then like what would you also want to call it? And like we're a new org, we don't have a budget yet, so I just wanted to put as much information as I possibly could. So I guess the short answer is no, I did not mean to make two line items.
No, that makes sense. It is really confusing to navigate. I yield.
And thank you so much. The form isn't like super essential. We just want to make sure we have the motion, right? Just so we can give you the right funds and things like that. Senator Stevenson?
Just as a note, I'm in the Affinity Org Liaison Committee, and you are my tag, and so I'll be in contact with you and your exec board about surplus requests and things like this in the future. So clubs that have cultural identity tags or labels don't feel so ostracized. Thank you, I yield.
We'll go to vote then. We will vote by acclamation. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the motion passes. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. And next up, we have Chinese Student Association. Thank you all for being here.
Hi, my name is Chloe and I'm the Vice President for Chinese Student Association.
And my name is Ethan. I'm the president of the Chinese Student Association.
We're also joined by our interns today, Rosalina and Josh. Next slide one. So today we're requesting $950 to fund for our general retreat. And then you can head over to the next slide. These are our overarching missions and goals for our general retreat, where our first one is we want to continue building connections between staff and general members, alongside with just overall community building for our club. And we would also like to continue educating our members on Chinese culture and language through various activities that we will be doing at our retreat that I will get more in depth later on. And then at general retreats, they also pose a way for us to encourage engagement from our general members, as they have to be eligible to attend retreat by attending 4 meetings. And also, not every single one of our attendants is Chinese or have Chinese heritage. And this can foster intercultural dialogue between members that are maybe not very connected to any Chinese culture at all, and just have a diverse conversation between them. And we will also hope that general retreat will improve the experiences of our general members through having like a special memory of CSA. Then you can head over to our next slide. And these are some of our expected outcomes that we can get from retreat. And we're hoping to strengthen the Chinese diaspora community while including those who are curious about learning more about Chinese culture and Chinese diaspora overall. And having a group of general members that can get support and have an overall safe space of community members that they feel like they have support and they have people to talk to. And overall, we also want to get more publicity and club presence to help the organization grow, as we have been growing exponentially this year and last year, and just to help retainment and recruitment rate. And then you can head over to the next. These are some 2025 retreat from last year when we were still formerly known as Chinese Banjiang. And these are some of like our members. They had a really great time, and we did have less attendance last year than this year that we are expecting. So hence we are requesting quite a bit of money. And it was an overall positive experience from our members. They really enjoyed it. They still have memories of it, and there are lots of photos, and they got to build new connections, make new friends, while also just fostering the ones that they already currently have. Then you can continue on to the next slide. And this is our overall breakdown of our budget. Yeah. So I'm going to start off with just transportation. And we are expecting about $592 in terms of transportation with a vehicle. And since we are going to Newport, it is about 200 miles round trip, including like all the stops that we have. And we calculated about 4.25 or $4.25 per gallon, and with an average of 25 miles per gallon. And then we have to add on the rental vehicles of $240, which will be done through the EO Fleet Motors, and parking passes for the Oregon State Park, which is $10 per vehicle. That is 80. So our total cost is 592 in terms of transportation. And then you can head on to the next slide. And then these are our food costs. We are providing lunch, and just any leftovers from lunch will be like just free for all during the afternoon. And snacks and non-water beverages will be about $199. Sandwich and wrap materials is what we're providing for our actual lunch item, will be about $83 if you round up. And then our salad materials is $41. And then any utensils, napkins, plates, any extra like just picnic supplies will be about $35. And that totals our costs to be about $358. And then you can move over to our next slide. We're shifting over to itinerary just so you guys have a thorough breakdown of what we will be doing during our retreat. It is kind of small, but I will be thinking about it. So our very first one is we will be gathering at the EMU parking lot at about 10 a.m. just to gather all the members and to have them get settled in with their cars. And we will be leaving at 10:15 after getting all the head count, getting the last few stragglers. And then they will be bringing their own water bottles alongside with any like personal items that they will need. And the first ride will be about 5 minutes to Yaquina Bay Lighthouse. And at arrival, we will have introductions between members and just give everyone an overview of that day. And during that time, staff will also be setting up like lunch for members to eat at the lighthouse area until about 1:15, where we will have 30 minutes where they will be exploring and learning about the lighthouse area, enjoying the scenery and taking photos. And then you can get to the next slide. It's our other part of our itinerary. And then next we will be heading over to historic Newport Bayfront. And during these transitions, members will remain with their assigned car group, which we have already started into. And at the historic Newport Bayfront, the members will be participating in a planned activity of a Chinese scavenger hunt, where they will take pictures of items, like a specific list of items, and they will have to repeat those back in Mandarin to the staff members. Afterwards, they'll have about an hour of free time where they will explore the local shops, scenery, and other stuff like that. And then at 3:25, we will have a designated meeting location where all the members should return back to so they can get back into their cars and head over to their next location, which is South Beach State Park. And we're aiming to be there for about 2 hours from 4 to 6 p.m., where we will also be having planned activities led by staff members, such as Chinese calligraphy in the sand, Tai Chi, and Chinese karaoke and music, alongside with some just general free time for some members just to hang out with also some picture taking, and we will be offering any leftovers from lunch back to them because last year, I think in the afternoon, members kind of got hungry. And at 6, we will plan to head out at Newport, and then plan to return to campus by 8 p.m. And then that gives them like 15 minutes if they need to make any pit stops. That is it from our end. So if you have any questions.
You guys put a lot of effort in the planning district. Thank you. We'll start questions with Senator O'Neill.
Wanted to express my support. I cannot vote. I was in CFA last year, but I think it definitely seems as if they improved on the problems that were with the retreat last year, and that this is a really solid price for the stuff that's going to be happening. I feel like the Tai Chi looks really cool because Tai Chi is really important to do outdoors, and I just think it seems like a really cool and put together itinerary, and so I support everyone voting for it.
And to clarify too, clarifying conflict of interest and stuff, unless you're like actually going on the trip or you're receiving money in your pocket from this trip, you can still vote for it. Like,
Even if I was CSA president last year? Okay.
Senator Smith.
You guys did your due diligence. Thank you. This looks like a fucking blast. I move to, thank you. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Chinese Student Association, OS number OS292I, to new line item general retreat in the amount of $950.
Motion made by Smith, seconded by Questenberry. Do we have any more questions? Okay, we can vote by acclamation. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. And the motion is approved. Congratulations and enjoy your trip. Girls Honor Society at the UO. Thank you so much for being here. Please introduce yourself and share your request. Now.
Everybody, Hi, everybody. My name is Finn. I'm from the Philosophy Club. I'm the treasurer for the club. I'm here to hopefully get money for our conference that we're hosting in April. This is going to be a conference for mainly undergraduate students who are submitting papers and then going to be presenting at the conference to both students at UO and to students, both undergrad and graduate and faculty from this university, along with nearby universities, including Oregon State, Southern Oregon University, and then like 10 more that I can't remember off the top of my head. But we are all in contact with all of them about this. For the actual numbers, we are asking for money with our room, which is in Girlinger, catering, and then printing. So I'm going to just go through that specifically. Okay, so for the room, it's going to be in Girlinger Lounge, which comes out to $421.50. And then catering is through UO Catering, which came to $206.25. But this is a rough estimate that they gave us because they couldn't give us a hard specific number. Yes. But I included in my documents proof of them proving this and saying that they will do it, and that is a rough estimate of $206.25, but that they suggested rounding up. And so I also met with Quadrian today, who suggested rounding that to $80 just to be safe for pricing reasons. So catering is $300, and then for printing services, pamphlets, which is 100 copies, each costing at $1.01, which totals $101, and then one banner. I told them, and they estimated it would be between $150 to $200. So I aired on 200 just in case. That totals to $1,023 rounded up.
Thank you so much, Ben. And when I met with Ben this morning, the request was like $600, but it was literally just going to be like food and a room. And I was like, you guys need a banner, do some things to make it a more like a better event because people are going to be coming from other schools, and some of our priorities are funding events from other schools. So just to add context and stuff, or not from other schools, but just getting more people on campus. Moving to discussion, I'll start with Senator Stevenson.
Is Philosophy Club still meeting in the same place? It's in Campbell Hall.
Yes.
Ben here is hosting a discussion tomorrow in Philosophy Club in the second floor in Campbell Hall. I'm going, you guys should come. It's at 6 p.m. I'm gonna make the motion. I move to authorize spending surplus to Group Philosophical Society at the University of Oregon, OS number OS339I, in the amount of $1,023 to new line item name conference.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded Questenberry. Next we have Smith on the speakers list.
What's the event about?
I yield to Finn.
I'm going to be leading a discussion on the meaning of dreams. So we're going to be talking about different philosophical and psychological and sociological theories on what dreams are, because there's an answer to that. So we'll just be talking about it. Thank you. And tomorrow at 6 in Susan Campbell Hall.
That's the fancy room. Cute the cool piano and the old furniture.
That sounds nice though.
You yield, Smith.
I yield.
Senator Madariaga.
Sorry, I actually yield.
Any other questions? To a vote. Perez.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill. Aye. Taylor.
Aye.
Smith. Aye. Broussard.
Aye.
Offer A. Aye. Heffernan. Aye. Amala Diafe. Aye. Chisholm. Nagarajan.
Aye.
Stevenson.
Aye.
Purdue. Aye. Smith.
Aye.
Bailey. Aye. Dariaga.
Aye.
Questenberry.
Aye.
And I say as well. Congrats, you guys. Next, we have a request from the Rover at the University of Oregon. Anybody from the school? Senator Heffernan?
I move to table the request from the University of Oregon.
Second. Motion made by Heffernan, seconded Smith. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, say nay. Other. Move forward with our agenda. Absolute improv. Hi guys, welcome.
Hello, my name is Annika and I am the president of Absolute Improv.
My name is Quinn. I'm the event coordinator in training.
Today we are coming to you with a request, surplus request of $4,000, but I figured I'd tell you about our club a little bit first. We are the only collegiate level improv club here at the University of Oregon. Our team currently consists of 18 members, and we host 2 open rehearsals a week that are open to anybody on campus. Anyone can come out and try improv, watch improv, do whatever they want with the club. We currently have around 30 people attending our meetings on average. And then once a week we have closed rehearsals for our team to practice improv, and then we hold 2 shows after where we perform for our general audience. Yes, we are requesting $4,000 for a festival that we will be hosting in the coming months, April 16th to the 19th here at the university. The festival would consist of 3 nights of performance improv, bringing in clubs of collegiate level teams all across the Western United States and Canada to come and perform at the university. So it's 3 night performances open to everybody here at the university, and we would also be here. $400 request consists of around a 1,000 to 200,000. Sorry, 1,000 to 2,000 budget for merchandise, around $1,000 for room reservations, and $1,000 for catering. That extra 1,000 merch is just an added buffer. I don't believe we will use all of the funds we get from the surplus towards the festival. So any funds that we don't use go back to you guys. You know how that works. And then any merchandise that we are requesting to buy would be sold at the festival, and then going back into our club, so we can use the funds from that for next year's festival.
Thanks so much for being here tonight. Let's have some questions from some of our peers.
Hi, Annika. Always great to see Absolute Improv. I wanted to ask you guys a question, and Senator Piper, you might actually have answer to this. Does it cost for student orgs to reserve rooms in the EMU? I yield to Senator Smith.
Okay. Okay. No, but yes. Depends on the room, but also technically no. So this one, we were putting them in a classroom. I don't think it worked out though. So you're not scheduled through scheduling event services for me, right?
Not in PLC 184.
You are.
Okay. I don't PLC 180 for this Friday.
Okay. Anyways, sorry, that was such a confusing.
We're talking about for this specific event.
For this, it depends on if the rooms themselves are free, the supervisors cost money, the furniture costs money. In a classroom, it's just the supervisor that costs money. It depends on the room you're in. If it's a super big room, you have a supervisor, it's about like $32 an hour-ish. 32 to 37, somewhere. But you're in PLC.
I believe our reservations in PLC would take from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, but we want to start at 7 and then have a
Yeah. And then for 3 days.
For 3 days, yes.
So on the budget, it says that you guys wanting rooms in the EMUs. Now you're gonna do PLC.
Yes, we requested rooms in the EMU, and then we all got that email about event spaces being really wacky during spring. So I think on my original request, I applied to $5,000. But I confirmed for I don't think we'll be getting for
and then my other question is just how much merchandise were you thinking about purchasing?
We were thinking about purchasing 50 shirts to sell, and around 50 stickers to sell as well. And then a part of that surplus request is for merchandise for our team. Right now, we have about half the team has shirts from last year. The new members of our team that we brought on this winter, they don't have merchandise to represent our club with. So we are hoping to use us to purchase shirts for them because right now our yearly budget, we went over that because the fact that Redwood Auditorium costs more to book this year, and so we typically request $300 a year for Redwood for 3 shows. But I believe most shows we have got out of that budget, so I probably use part of that surplus request to fund insurance we're buying. So thank you, AU.
Senator Smith.
Yes, did you guys get to have the catering in PLC?
No. I don't know how to carry on that.
Okay, I just think that might be an issue because typically they have to like get approval with the building managers and things like that. We're not supposed to have food in like classrooms, like catering is typically not allowed. There are exceptions that are made for like Lillis Atrium and things like that, but generally like catering is not supposed to go on those.
You guys cater in a classroom before. Senator Smith.
I'd like to make the motion.
Yep.
I move to authorize spending from surplus to group Absolute Improv OS number OS 272I to new line item Absolute Improv festival budget in the amount of $4,000.
Motion made by Smith, second by Peters. Yield.
Oh yeah, I yield. Thank you.
Got the motion on the floor. Question, Senator Sheehan.
I think you guys coming earlier this year to go to Canada.
Yes, that's right. And now people from Canada are gonna come to us. So yeah, it's a trade-off situation. People I know concerned with travel is that oftentimes university students are leaving campus and then, but now we're actually.
Yeah, I should ask how that went for you guys.
Oh yeah, it was great. We got back from Edmonton 5 weeks ago. We learned a lot, and we got back from Calgary 2 weeks ago. We learned a lot there as well, and we're going up to Vancouver in a couple of weeks to learn a lot there. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Awesome, then we will go to vote. I will actually ask real quick, if like, let's say it does fall through and you guys aren't able to get catering, would you guys be willing to return the money? We will start with Perez. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill. Taylor. Smith. Broussard. Aye. Offerhead. Heffernan.
Aye.
Amadioka. Jacobs Hiscox. Chidwin. Nagarajan. Aye. Stevenson. Aye. Purdue. Smith.
Aye.
Bailey. Aye. Burrell. Mariaga.
Aye.
Fisher. Westenberry.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Congrats, guys.
Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda, we have the Muslim Student Association. Like on their way, on the way? Yes. Okay. Now we're gonna take, Senator Smith.
I move to table the Muslim Student Association and move on to National Business Comics Club. I done it wrong.
Motion made by Smith, seconded by Questenberry. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Move to International Business and Economics Club. Thank you all for being here tonight. Back.
We have slides that I think I.
Good evening, guys. I'm Sharia. I'm the finance intern for IBEC, and I'm joined with the VP of Finance currently. And I just want to say I'm glad to be here.
My name is Olivia. I'm the operations intern, and this is the VP of operations. Thank you guys so much for
Thank you. Yeah, so can I just introduce yourself? We're IBEC, right? And our mission is to empower University of Oregon students to essentially just better understand the global economy through networking, research, professional development, and just kind of get them introduced to industry and how everything works globally. Kind of getting some statistics. So we've had a 400% membership growth in the last 2 years. So we're rising, and we really want to help people gain more knowledge about how international business works. And kind of peg off of that, we represent over 10 majors and minors in our club. We host around 35 events per year. And over the past 2 black tie dinners, we've had an increase of 60 to 150 people coming. So.
Go to the next slide. So basically, we're coming here to ask for a $1,500 increase for our annual Black Tie dinner or end of year symposium line item. And a little background on our Black Tie dinner. On the right side here, you can see some photos from 2 of our previous dinners. But basically, we host this at the end of the year as a kind of like congratulations for everyone in IBEC and all the work they put in. And we host it for 2 goals. First, starting with professional. It's a formal event, so it's a space where people can network with a kind of professional aspect. We do a lot of different professionalism workshops, so this is kind of a space where people can practice those skills. And then community-based goals. The event is open to anyone, not just in IBEC, not just in the business school, anyone from the entire university. And we choose a country to have the theme every year. And so it's kind of got a cultural aspect and a business aspect, which are 2 values that are kind of the core of IBEC. And so with those 2 goals,
Yeah, and kind of just introduce kind of like what the theme is going to be for 2026. So the year for 2026, we elected to have Japan as our theme, right? Like Japan is one of the world's most influential cultures and economies, and members voted on the theme to reflect IBEC's global mission and member voice. And moving on to our attendees, so we expect to have around 180 to 200 people attending this. This is going to include IBEC members, cultural clubs on campus like ISA, JSA, HOH, APASU. We're going to have a Hero Daiko there as well, kind of helping us out. We're going to have Kendo Club, including business clubs, industry professionals, and we're going to have lots of students, faculty, and staff. And a perk that they're going to have is going to be that this is all going to be free of charge, right? Like we really want to help people kind of gain more of an business acumen while collaborating with the cultural clubs and giving them more of an understanding of how stuff works overseas. And to kind of move on to the food and entertainment, we're going to have taiko drum and kendo performances, providing an authentic Japanese cultural experience. We're going to have Japanese food catered from Eugene. And we're going to have a keynote speaker over work culture and operational differences compared to the US, like I previously mentioned, just to give them more of an understanding of how stuff works in Japan, US, and globally as well.
Thank you. So why we're requesting this increase of $1,500 is because of 3 different reasons. First being that over the past year, we've doubled our membership, which we're super happy about. We love to see more faces in our club, and we just want to make sure that we are accommodating for that growth with this event. Last year, unfortunately, we had around 150 attendees for the dinner, and we did run out of food. Unfortunately, some people had to sacrifice their meals so that other attendees could eat, and we really don't want that to happen again. We want to make sure that we have a high quality experience for every single person attending. And also, third reason is we really want to have an accurate cultural representation of Japanese culture. We've, through research, found out that Japanese food is typically a lot more expensive than previous food we've catered with, like Mexican food. And we also want to just ensure that we have the most high quality events to do with food, decor, different vendors' performances, and we want to make sure that everyone is really satisfied, all the attendees.
Thank you, Olivia. And to kind of move into more of a breakdown for why we're requesting $1,500 and what that's going to be distributed towards. So 1,000 out of that 1,500 is going to go towards food, right? So we've been in talks with some vendors in Eugene, and we've been trying to work with like, well, what vendors would be affordable and that we can kind of have for our event there. And then moving downward, so we're going to have a Hero Daigo culture performance. So what that is, it's the club on campus. It's the Japanese drumming club, and kind of why we want to pay them, right? Is because, I mean, I think they're doing a really amazing job, and they reached out to us, and I mean, we love the idea that they would be also like willing to kind of have their performance and get us like have like a Japanese culture experience there, and we think it wouldn't be fair if we don't compensate them. So that's kind of like what the $200 is going to go towards, and the rest of that money, which is going to be $300, that's going to go towards decoration. Like, we really want to emphasize the point that because this is one of our keynote events, it's the biggest one we have every year, and right, we want to emphasize what the culture looks like, what the decoration is going to be. Like, for example, we're going to be buying ikebanas. We're going to be like highlighting kind of like what Japanese culture looks like, best of our abilities, and which is why I feel like if we have some additional money to spend there, we would be able to put out a better performance.
Awesome. And then, you're running, you know, how does this feed back into the UO community? And there's three things that I think really highlight that. First is going to be that cross club coordination. Because we are, you know, a business club, we're inviting other business clubs, but we're also going further, inviting those cultural clubs, not just the Japanese related ones, but anyone who wants to show up. We really are trying to push this event as far across campus as we can get it, so that the most diverse perspectives, you know, can come experience this, hear from our keynote speakers, and, you know, see kind of what IBEG is all about. Secondly is going to be that inclusive learning aspect from our keynote speakers. We really just want to show kind of a perspective outside of like the United States, like economy and business. We want to show kind of other aspects, what other, you know, business communities look like, and getting that experience, I think, is really important for all students. And yeah, once again, it's open to all, free of charge. We really want to encourage, you know, different people, even have, you know, differing interests, to come and, you know, experience this, maybe get some experience in a professional setting, you know, network with different industry professionals or, you know, professors, staff, different students, you know, peers, so we can kind of like interact with as many different people as possible and share our values and missions. You can scroll back and slide. But yeah, most of all, oh wait, sorry. Yeah, most of all, this dinner is a reminder that we really want to work together with diverse perspectives. We want to make sure that our club is founded upon, you know, an inclusive environment, and this represents that idea that everyone can grow, learn. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for your time. And at the bottom in that corner is a QR code to sign up. We have a cap for seats. You guys are all invited. We would love to see you all there. And you can sign it up free of charge. And
thank you all so much for sharing. That was an awesome presentation. We'll move into questions, and we'll start with Senator Madariaga.
Hey guys, so it sounds super cool. I had a quick question. For the like keynote speaker, is it like someone who's from Japan or like worked in Japan, or like same with like the last events, like from the country you're featuring?
yeah, so we're currently looking at finding a keynote speaker, but yeah, essentially with each year we find someone who has some kind of tie to the country theme. So last year we had representatives, I think, that worked in Mexico previously in business culture there and spoke on that. And this year we are looking for someone who has had experience in Japanese business culture to kind of speak on that, because there's a lot of like unique differences that make Japanese business culture specifically really special. And we kind of want to find someone who can speak on that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was gonna say, like, it would definitely be better to have someone who's like actually like moved or like lived there and like worked there for sure.
Yeah, that's our goal.
And then I'll just get the motion on the table as well. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group International Business and Economics Club, OS number OS 120I to existing line item end of the year symposium in the amount of $1,500.
Motion made by Dariaga, seconded by Purdue. Motion table. Purdue.
Thank you for being here. I just wanted to ask, where was like the restaurant that you're planning on doing your catering?
To kind of speak on that right now, we're looking at some vendors, right? Like we're thinking about Kasumi House and just like we're trying to narrow down 2 to 3 vendors that we think would be great to have like an affordable meal for catering like towards like the amount of people that we have. So we're in the process of that. I think that should be done very soon. But yeah, so we're just narrowing down like a vendor there and we should be good to go with just Japanese food there as well.
And then also, are you like partnering with JSA? Like, cause you guys were saying like you want to really make sure you guys are being culturally like correct, I guess, with like what you guys are presenting. Or like, I don't know, how are you guys feeling about that?
So we aren't like officially partnering with them, but we have, collaborated with them. We're in talks with them. They're definitely invited. And with, that cultural aspect, we're doing tons of different research and also talking to those cultural club performances with Daiko, and also I think Kendo's performing. Those, will have that aspect. And then as well as decorations, me and Sia are responsible for that. We've been doing a bunch of research of, affordable ways to kind of bring some kind of Japanese aspect, traditional aspect to that.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think the Ikebana is really cool.
I'm gonna make like wildflowers as well to make it in the spring.
For the speaker, is that something that you guys are paying for through your budget, or is that part of the surplus request?
No, that'll be in the budget.
But sorry if you already said it, what's like the total amount of the whole event, just so I know?
Yeah, so we're just requesting $1,500 right now.
For sure, yeah. How much are you guys spending like for your budget, just for perspective and stuff?
5,000.
Okay, awesome. Senator Smith.
Hi, thank you guys for coming. Is anyone from Japan involved in the planning process?
I think Logan, our board member, who is just arrived very quickly. Yes.
Hi, Logan. Long time no see, Senators. Does it feel strange to I yield. Thank you. Nice to sit down.
Outline again exactly what the $1,000 is going to, because I know you're adding it on.
Yeah, if you guys want to go back up here.
And to kind of just recap that once again, right? So the total budget or total surplus that we want is going to be $1,500. And out of that $1,500, $1,000 we want it to be allocated towards food and just helping cater more for the increased people attending, right? And 200 of that is also going to be going towards like your Daiko's performance. So once again, we really just want to hone in on kind of compensating them for all the effort and everything that they've been doing, kind of just helping us out. And we're really glad they're going to be part of our team. And 300 out of that is going to be going towards decorations, kind of just in hand to give our like best efforts, showcase what Japanese culture could look like to the best abilities.
And you guys mentioned that you were adding this on to your previous, you're adding it on to what you already have? Yeah. And how much do you already have for the event?
So right now we have 3,500 and we want to get to 5,000 total.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I do realize that y'all are putting it on for free, but I do think it's important to charge money for these kinds of events. Simply because a lot of our other huge events here, they do charge money and they do deserve that extra 1K, that extra 1.5K, but we can't give that to them because that'd be a lot more money out of surplus versus if y'all just were to charge the $5 per person like a lot of these other events do. So I personally am not in favor of voting for this because I do think that it should be a paid for events. I guess specific events that I'm thinking about are events like volleyball. There are more events. Yeah, the HOH's luau. Yeah, I believe the powwow is also. Oh, never mind. But anyway, it like really depends. But I know that all these events are also running out of food too, and so I understand that that's an issue. But I think that the first place that you should look is charging a little bit of money for the event. So I will not be voting in favor of this. Thank you.
Being here. I know you mentioned that you asked about whether you're collaborating with JSA. Are you officially partnered with like AMA Women in Business or like other clubs that you mentioned attending? I don't think like
I would take the charging, just like personally, I think it's good that you have a free event. I think usually like HOH, their total event budget was like $40,000-$50,000. So in proportion, like it's very different. And I think this number of people and this number, like the budget, I feel like is pretty typical for us not to charge, or for people not to charge. And I think that's up to you, but I like the idea of free events, especially because you're paying the IP to get access to this money for clubs and things like that. So I'm in support of this. I think it's really well planned. I think it's a good price. I think you guys have put a lot of thought into it. I really support it.
So Senator Huffman asked my question, but also I agree with Senator Smith and I yield.
And then and we do that through voting. So basically, we had a meeting at the beginning of the year where we had all of our members split up into groups and create presentations on why we should host the Black Tie dinner with that country's theme, and then voted and Japan.
I'm feeling a little questionable. I think it's like, okay, so y'all are gonna be having dinner. I guess I just know that's me. I guess I'm a little worried, like honestly, like replicating without having a significant. I don't know, kind of to somebody's point earlier, like if JSA was collaborating on it when expressing culture, I think it's very important to have the people culture represent maybe more than one. I don't like because there's different parts of I don't, but I think there's something about it that I'm not too sure about, but the lack of it's like good, like when you could like we got a lot of positive feedback from us. We are definitely trying to I do support like spreading like culture and like the different parts of it. It's just that I don't think that research from paper is enough because how research is made, period, is there's a lot of flaws in it that perpetuate like scientific flaws. So I guess like maybe I feel more inclined to vote yes if you guys were to tell me you're at least going to be in talks with JSA, but that's if they're willing to do it because you don't want to ask them to do labor for you. But like if there was more like collective, more than one person, I don't know what else was willing to help do research is also Japanese, but like if there was at least like a conversation attempts to be had, which is I feel like, hey, what are some things that you guys think you can do to accurately message through? Like, yeah, I think that would make me feel a lot more comfortable. What do you guys think about that?
Definitely. I think that we've already been in some conversations with them, but I think, reaching out to them again with, what we already have planned to get any feedback and, making sure that it's culturally completely accurate is definitely something that we.
Also, if they don't respond to instead of DMs, there's always the MCC and they have an office there and find their office office. Are you?
Senator Broussard.
Thank you so much for coming. I think this is, I should say, I think this is a really cool event. I'm super excited. I RSVP'd. I want to go. And I also wanted to piggyback after Sarah Smith. She was talking about how it's free charge. I think it's really cool. A lot of events do charge, but also their budgets are really inflated in comparison. So $5,000 versus like a $40,000 event. So I don't know. I definitely think it makes sense. But yeah, I agree with what he was saying. Collaborate with other organizations, even if it's not like a co-sponsored, totally, but just like reaching out. And then the point of research, totally agree. I think research was more broader and like in terms of talking to people, not like specifically science research. I was interpreting that right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm in support. Thank you.
I was just gonna say that I'm also in support of this, and I appreciate your efforts to be culturally sensitive and to be open to reaching out to make sure that is culturally sensitive. I was gonna call the question, but I don't know if anyone else. So, yeah.
Question's been called. We will vote by acclamation on whether to animate. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Roll call. Perez. Aye. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Aye. Operative.
Aye.
Heffernan. Amodifa. Jenkins Hiscox. Chisholm. Agarajan. Stevenson.
Aye.
Smith.
Nay.
Bailey.
Aye.
Morel. Madariaga.
Aye.
Fisher. Westbury.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
I say aye. And it passes. The question has been called. We'll now move to vote. We will also vote by roll call for the dollar amount of $1,500 to IBEC, starting with Perez. Aye. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher. O'Neill. Taylor. Aye. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Aye. Opperhead.
Aye.
Heffernan. Amodifa. Chisholm. Agarajan. Stevenson. Purdue.
Aye.
Smith. Bailey. Morel. Madariaga.
Aye.
Fisher. Westbury.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
And I say aye. Congratulations, guys. Does someone want to make a motion to untable emergency association? Thanks.
Move to bring the request announcements.
Smith, seconded by Peter, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. And we'll now get a report from Public Services.
I do just want to say, I think being really sensitive is like the bare minimum, and we should be like congratulating orgs on that. I think that should be like the expectation that I'm coming here with, especially if you're like doing themed events around like countries. Like it should be the bare minimum that they're like talking to students here who actually like from those countries or lineage from those countries. I don't know. I get bad vibes when business and culture is like that close together because I'm a labor head, and I don't think those. So okay, I yield. Like.
I'll allow the two comments, and then we're gonna move forward the agenda, Senator.
I agree, and I definitely was going to say something about that on my second stack because I was initially trying to be what's the word? Viewpoint neutral and pointing out that it wasn't charged, but after that was not a problem. I do think it is I just don't like the way that business and culture they have such a predatory relationship, and I think that I would have much preferred to be able to have said that. But then the question was called, and that makes me very angry. And I know that I should have said something the first time, but I was trying to be quite neutral, and then everybody was like, "Oh, well, lots of our things aren't charged." Anyway, it doesn't matter if there's one Japanese person on board. That's not how it works. We have an entire org for it. And they're just saying, oh, we reached out to them. They're invited. It should be a lot more involved if there is an actual group that is here to represent the group itself. And so I think that it's weird. I think that it's gone on for years and it's been a little weird, but that's just my own opinion. But now they're gone, which is a shame. I would have liked to say that to their faces. But
Yeah, I'm with with Meme and Chisholm. That's it's kind of weird. I'm just thinking about like, what if they were like, actually, we're doing the theme this time is Black people in business. I would have felt pretty weird. You know, like we've invited some Black folks to teach us about how business works in the Black community. Don't worry, we invited all of the Blacks. Like that'd be really weird. And we have one back here. Everyone say hi, Daryl. Hey, Daryl. It's kind of strange, man. I don't know. So like when there's cultural stuff, I would encourage my peers to use the flavor of empathy where you pretend it's you who's the target or you like the theme of a thing. I think that's an interesting and important tool. I yield.
All right, moving forward to the request from Muslim Student Association. Welcome, guys. Please share your names and your requests.
How's it going, guys? My name is Hadi. I'm the chair of finance on MSA. I'm Mahmoud. I'm the vice chair of finance at MSA. And we're here requesting 2,500 to be put into spring term events. And this, along with, I think a transfer from winter term funds of like $9.48 to office supplies, just because we kind of went over a little bit. But the 2,500 is mainly for our big event next term, which is the Eid Ball. It's like the end of dawn, and usually it's a pretty big event. We have around 300 people show up. And as you guys know, food this time around is getting pretty expensive. We reached out to Evergreen for like an invoice, and they said around $1,650 per person. And so estimate is around like $5K for food altogether. And right now, we just took some money out for a performance, which is around 4K, and we budgeted that term to be 7K. So that leaves us with like 3.2K, a little bit under. And that 2,500 will help us get to at least 5K. And we're expecting to have some rollover or some extra funds from this term that we're probably going to transfer to get us to around 6,300. And so using the 5K from the catering, we'll have 1,300 left. And then 300 of that will be used for decorations for the event. And then the rest of the $1,000 is going to be for just regular weekly events throughout the term.
Thank you guys so much. We'll start questioning with Senator Smith. Hey, you. Senator Perez.
Thank you. Go ahead and read.
To authorize spending from surplus to Muslim Student Association OS 0615 in the amount of 2,500 to line item spring term events.
Motion made by Perez, seconded by Peters. Is there any more discussion? We'll move them up then. We'll start with Perez. Aye. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill. Aye. Taylor. Aye. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Aye. Opperhead. Heffernan.
Aye.
Almodiape. Chisholm. Nagarajan. Aye. Stevenson. Purdue.
Aye.
Smith. Aye. Bailey,
Aye.
Morel, Mariaga,
Aye.
Fisher, Westbury,
Aye.
Lumen,
Aye.
and I say as well. Congrats, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so, and then I move to transfer funds within Greek Muslim Student Association OS 061I from line item winter term events to office supplies line item in the amount of $10.
Motion made by Perez, seconded by Fisher. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the transfer is approved. Thank you, guys.
They should have.
I stay now.
I do like Peter.
Oh, sorry.
Are they supposed to do this for a $10 internal job?
No, but it was there, so we'll just vote on it. Call it good.
The surplus request today.
You actually have
All right, guys, restoring order and moving forward on the agenda. Next up, we have BSA. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hi, so I'm John, the internal affairs for BSA. And today we're requesting $3,000 for a culture show that's occurring on April 12th. Start off a little bit about what culture show is. It's our biggest event of the year, and it highlights various aspects of Vietnamese culture, including performances of fan dance, hat dance, fashion show, meaningful skits, and music performances as well. We usually have upwards of 250 attendees, including community members, students, and parents. And this year's theme is Gathered in Warmth, which we want to highlight the importance of the family dinner and the storytelling and bonding that is associated with that. And it's very important in Vietnamese culture. So here's our current cost breakdown. In our line, we have 16,500 currently, and that's allocated for 6,000 towards our guest performer, Emia, who's a Vietnamese American present artist. 5,500 is allocated for catering with Vietnamese food from restaurant Bon Mi. 4,620 is going towards the viewer dance practice rooms in the recreation center. And 300 is going towards Phi-Long line dance, which is an annual performance that we usually have. So the 3,000 that we're requesting is going to go towards decorations and stage props for our skit. Photo booths, so attendees can have like memory to bring home with them. And then plates, utensils, napkins, cups, things like that, and serve food. And then we also want to buy more Vietnamese traditional outfits called Ao Ya, which is for people who are participating in fashion show. And then we also need money for the ballroom purchase order. And finally, the rest of the money we're doing other miscellaneous expenses like promotional stickers, brochures to put on the table, food name tags, and other things that might be great for consideration. Questions.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for the breakdown. We will start questions with Senator Smith.
Thanks for breaking it down for us, crazy style. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Vietnamese Student Association OS number OS not 92I to existing line item culture event in the amount of $3,000. Second for Sark.
Made by Smith, seconded by Chisholm. Very ugly.
Do you know what time it's gonna be at yet?
Yeah. The show starts at 6 and doors will open 5:30. 5:15.
Cool, cool. And then, sorry, I don't know if you already said that. Is this a pre-event or in charge of tickets?
I believe we are charging tickets. And it's $5 for students.
Okay, cool. I yield.
Senator Heffernan and Bailey.
Hi, thank you for being here. As I noticed in your request, you said
that the main reason you need additional funding is because of the high cost of the dance practice room. Have those like increased from last year? You know, like how much? What's the difference on that?
Not sure how much it costed last year, but I know it's about $60 per hour. And we need those for dances. Mirrors. And we have 5 dances, which practice we use costs per time.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Senator Taylor.
Good. I have an unrelated question. I just wondered, who does the art for your flyers?
We have a media engineer.
Oh, okay.
Tommy does good work. Thank you.
And we don't have a motion on the floor yet. Okay.
I made a motion.
My God, that's right. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Practice. Then if there are no more questions, we'll go to vote. Start with Perez. Aye. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Taylor. Aye. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Aye. Offerday. Heffernan.
Aye.
Amadiefe. Chizza. Nagarajan. Aye. Stevenson. Purdue.
Aye.
Smith. Aye. Bailey.
Aye.
Villarreal.
Aye.
Westenberry.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda, we have High Student Association. Well, mediator,
Hi, everyone. Oh, sorry.
you can grab the mic off if you'd like to. It just goes like straight up.
Hi guys, my name is Sarah. I'm one of the co-directors of the Thai Student Association, and today we are here to request funding for an event that we want to put on called the Southeast Asia Night Market. And we are also here in collaboration with BSA, KP, and ISA as well. So just a little bit about who we are. TSA, we're the Thai Student Association, and we seek to provide students with information about Thai culture and also bring together people from other nationalities surrounding Thai culture. And then now I'll have the other clubs we're collaborating with.
Hello everyone, I'm Mackenzie. I'm from KP. We're the Culture Filipinas club here on campus with a Filipino organization, and we put on a lot of events. We have one in May, Scan. We have one in November that's called Fair Lamb. We do a big little program that's called AKA, and we welcome anyone that wants to know more about our heritage. And we also have like big ties to organizations, locally and nationally. So we're also associated with Northwest Masa and Kabataan Alliance. So we do a lot of work politically.
John is a Raymond, Greg, he's cool. Bring the community together, spread awareness.
Hi all, my name is Nathaniel. I'm one of the co-presidents of the International Student Association. Our goal is to strengthen a bond between domestic and international students, as well as strengthening international communities and culture, like providing international cultures to we hold events weekly as well as large events once per term. We also have a culture show.
So a little bit about why we think this event is needed on campus. While the Southeast Asian communities are a part of the broader Asian identity, we are often misrepresented or underrepresented within the Asian community as well as like across cultural communities in general. A recent event that has kind of been occurring online is the rise of the hashtag Siblings, which emerged because a lot of stereotyping and bullying has been happening towards Southeast Asian people as of late, and this has included like dismissive or like derogatory comments from other Asian groups, and this has kind of formed the narrative that Sikh cultures are lesser or undesirable compared to other Asian cultures. So we just think having an event centered around us highlighting people that we have is important on campus, and this would be the first of its kind.
and we're $2,700. So general funding will be for things like renting like the stage, because we also hope to have performances to showcase the cultures, and then things like table rentals, because we do want to have 10 tables there, and 10 tables come from not just Vietnamese, Thai, Philippines, and the International Student Association, but we also want to have tables for Southeast Asian countries that don't have a club on campus. So Indonesia, Malaysia, Laos, and we hope to have some students of those descents from, the community and the international student community there to also be able to represent their culture on campus. So we're allocating about $100 to each table for things like decorations, for activities, because we also plan to have games. It'll be like a night market carnival kind of thing. And then for our food, we decided on an ice cream bar because there actually is a lot of overlap with Thai, Vietnamese, and Filipino cuisine there and desserts with flavors like ube and coconut, and we want ice cream bar to be like a really efficient and cost-effective way to serve food to people attending while also showcasing our culture. Cool. So then we and then like for this night market is big for collaboration across like obviously for orgs already, but also like students who don't have orgs to represent them. And then we just increase on campus, and then hopefully this will be like a model for continues to be here. We have to make C9 here.
Thank you so much. I think I take everyone, I'd say like we love to see collaborative events. Awesome work. We'll start a conversation.
Question is actually about why. What guys? There, I mean, Student Association OS number OS 309I, $1,640. New line of names,
Yeah, I would just like to strongly express my support. It's generally the most exciting event, in my opinion, because well, my family is from Malaysia, and it's just so thrilling to see like Malaysian representation on the flags and stuff, because they're ethnically Chinese, but they've been there for generations. But I just think it's super awesome that y'all are doing this. I know that at the beginning of the year meetings, TSA was talking a little bit with me about potentially putting this on as a collaboration, and I'm so happy to see this come to fruition. Dude, I think y'all need a lot more are pitching. I just think this is so awesome. I'm really excited for it, and I'll definitely be attending. Yeah, I feel so. Yeah, so yeah, I think about
which is about $300.
I so we plan to get donation.
Uh, this is really cool. I'm very excited for this, and I hope that it happens like in years in the future. You talked about the stage and cost. Maybe that thing.
Gonna be from like
Okay. Okay. I was just yeah. Okay. That's it. But also like, oh, you guys want.
We're ready to go. Start with Perez. Aye. Peters. Aye. Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill. Wheeler. Smith.
Aye.
Clark. Aye. Hockett. Aye. Amalika. Tudor. Aye. Ravi. Aye. Stevenson. Aye. Purdue. Smith. Haley.
Aye.
Ralph. Mariaga. Fisher. She put an aye by proxy.
Not.
Pass. Mary.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
I say aye. Congratulations, guys. Next up, we have League Club at UO. Welcome back.
J2. I think we sent slides today by any chance. Awesome. Sorry, we sent them a tad bit late. Final adjustment to learn.
You ready?
Hello there, my name's Anthony. Okay, I have a very quiet voice, so if I don't project myself, a little bit, it's my first time being here. It's kind of a lot of work. But yeah, my name's Anthony Cano. I'm the president of QuackHack. I'm Joaquin Esparza. I am the director of finance and sponsorship for QuackHack.
And I'm Greg Morrison. I'm the director of
So yeah, let's talk about QuackHack. So League Club started in 2023, and it was created to prepare students. As a computer science student, just to give you guys a little bit of insight, a lot of our processes for internships and job requirements and interviews, which are coding challenges that can take like an hour to 2 hours. And to be frank, classes don't prepare us for that at all. So a lot of this time is spent outside of the classroom individual studying, so you can get into the room to meet somebody. So that's what we looked at. But then in winter 2025, League Club was repurposed and organized, repurposed to organize QuackHack. And then in 2025, QuackHack's organizers hosted QuackHack Lite and QuackHack 2. Thank you so much. So what is QuackHack? So for those who aren't privy, QuackHack is a 24-hour hackathon. What is a hackathon? That's a buzzword. It's a coding competition. and they're held by universities and corporations globally. This is team-based, it's a lot of room to contribute and collaborate. And for people in the tech space and not even engineers, it's a place for us to network. It's for you to meet your peers, your mentors, your faculty, your recruiters, to really just show the skills that you have, that you belong in the tech space, which we don't necessarily get in the classroom. So yeah, let's talk about the benefits of having our own hackathon. Number one thing, improve innovation in campus. We're known for our business school. We have the OIC, the Entrepreneurship Center. Our tech space is really innovative. We have a lot of students that have great ideas that don't really get a platform to demonstrate that. And we really love showing these people to the industry partners like, hey, look at this people, like look at these people here you go. We're like ready to be making changes. On top of that, it connects students with valuable resources and industry mentors. We bring corporate sponsors that come in and they set in the recruiters, their judges, the people that make hiring decisions, and also the people that will be working with you. It encourages direct student involvement and collaboration by bringing not only students in the computer science space, but also the business space, also the art and tech space, everyone all in there. It also provides hand-on learning experiences for portfolios and resumes. You get a nice little resume project. You can show like, great, I'm innovative and I'm ambitious enough to put myself out there, which a lot of the time is a really good thing. It also brings positive attention and recognition to the school. We're really known in the hackathon space, or especially here in the Pacific Northwest, for our quality of our event and our ability. So that leads us to QuackX 1, which was in January of 2025. We had 5 co-founders. They hosted 100 participants in the Redwood Auditorium to hack for 24 hours. And that was after receiving $22,000 from ASUO and no outside sponsors through ASA. I can't pronounce that, I'm dyslexic. See, next slide, please. So yeah, QuackX 1, we hosted 100 people, 5 organizers, 5 volunteers, so a team total of 10. We received coverage in KT9, and the Daily Emerald also covered our story. That leads us into QuackX 2, where we hosted 200 people. We had 6 schools, all the way from Northern California, people from Washington, and we also had 1 participant come all the way down from UCLA. 5 meals provided. We had 25 organizers, 4 corporate sponsors. We were actually the largest overnight event in GameU history. We had 12 prizes and 12 winners and prizes. As you can see me there hosting, posing up. And yeah, the next slide, please. Yeah, projects. So just to give you guys a insight into what kind of projects are made at our event, the top left corner, that's called Combo Crack. It was actually made by some students. It uses your MacBook or laptop's camera. Track your hand, and anytime you throw a punch, it would actually fight the creature in the game. We also had Everleaf. Everleaf was made as an agricultural tool. We know agriculture is a really huge industry here in Oregon. I was actually born and raised in Oregon. So wine, I came from wine country. Everleaf was made for people to track famines, track how their fertilizer is being used, how many plants are being watered, etc. In the center, we have Echo. Echo was a Google Chrome extension that was made to quantify news sources as being either biased to the right, biased to the left, gave you a summary of it, and just really, I think that's honestly a really useful tool in such a polarized environment that we are right now. And then on the bottom, we have Hika. As you know, we're in Oregon, we're really crunchy, we're really granola. So that actually was made as an alternative to Strava. It was an app completely to find hikes here in Uvo, here in Eugene, also in Oregon. You could rate them, be in leaderboards with your friends, and just really just take pictures and enjoy it. And something I didn't touch on at the original slide, as you can tell, I'm a little nervous. On top of that, we actually had participants go to OSU's hackathon. So we're going to touch on that a little bit better. OSU really touts themselves as being a computer science school and being better than us. Their first event, we went over there, and part of my language, we kicked their ass, and we won first place. On top of that, we went to MIT's hackathon. National ranked, it's one of the best ones in the world. Our members actually took 4th place for the entire event. Now it's people flying in from around the world. Another thing, we actually had more people go to Carnegie Mellon, which is the top computer science school in the world. And we actually had people win a track there as well. And something that we keep hearing time and time again from not only our participants, but also the people that are involved in our community, is that QuackX has the best organization, we have the best flow, we have the best food. And to be honest, that's like the best thing ever. And I know we have the quality and I know we are the best. We just need to start moving towards the scale, because I want tech to be here at U of O for people to see our students and for QuackX to mean something, so people can actually see what we look like. Yeah. Your connections, your strike.
All right. So yeah, at the club, community impact is obviously very important to us. So kind of to highlight some of the big ways we've been able to get community impact. Anthony touched on it a little bit, but we were able to get covered by KEZI 9 News, as well as the Daily Emerald, just praising us for how we're able to put on an event like this for the students that really brings together the community. Also on the bottom right there, you can see, as Anthony mentioned earlier also, we had some OSU students come to our event, and they were just in awe of how we set up the venue, how we set up our entire event. And they were so inspired, they actually reached out to our executive team, wanting to start their own hackathon at OSU. So that was pretty cool. They made like a podcast episode where they're basically just asking our founders a bunch of different questions about the event, and how they could kind of like recreate that. And now here OSU is holding their own events with hundreds of people. So that was really cool to see. Next slide. Just to touch a little bit more on our community impact, one of the big events we do is like an annual Quack Hacks Light, and we do this every spring. This event is essentially for middle schoolers and high schoolers in the local Eugene and Springfield area. And it allows them to kind of come to UO and get their first taste of like technology and computer science through the UO. Again, not a technical school. So we think that's pretty cool. And through this event, we set them up with all the technology, anything they might need, as well as a mentor who can kind of walk them through just like building whatever cool idea that they have. Like I said, Oregon isn't meant like known as like a technical school. So this is kind of a cool way to like outreach to these kids. And if they want to pursue a technology career and they know that like Oregon's a great place to start that. Yeah, next slide. Sorry. Yeah, also it's super important that our events actually have an impact on the students here. So I kind of wanted to touch on a few of those things. The first thing is that just being a part of Quack Hacks and creating a project gives majors of any types insight into the real world, like work they'll be doing. So for example, if you're this major, you can practice pitching to these actual industry professionals. If you're a computer science major, you can learn how a large scale project is built from the ground up and what goes into that on the front end, back end, all those different aspects. It's pretty cool because this transfers to any major. So same thing with art and design and everything like that. The next way that we are able to impact students is that we have mentors who are industry professionals throughout the event, and students throughout the event are able to go and talk to them, create connections, bounce ideas off them, and really kind of build that relationship. So maybe when they're looking for internships in the future or whatever, they'll reach out and see that their mentor might have been at the company that they want to work for. Yeah, and the third thing I wanted to touch on with student impact is just that these projects aren't always just hackathon projects. A really good example of this is this MacroCam app that someone built at our last event. These students ended up pushing this out to the App Store, and this could end up becoming like a full-time job for them. So yeah, it can always just be bigger than just a hackathon project. Next, I'm going to pass it off to Joaquin.
And one thing I wanted to touch on too, with what Graham was talking about, especially like with mentors and judges, we're also focused on like focusing in the Eugene area as well. Like we really focused a lot of our time into getting judges that are from the local area. So we really focus on this area, not just polling people from everywhere else, because this is Eugene. So pardon me, I have my phone because I got a lot of stuff to talk about and I don't want to miss anything. So starting off with our future, before we actually get into this event that we're asking money for, we want to talk about where we plan on going, what our goal is. So as opposed to doing 2 hackathons a year, which is what we've been doing, we're going to start lowering it down to 1 big hackathon every year. That's going to be our main 24-hour hackathon event where we want to bring a ton of students into one area. But part of that, we want to do mini UO only hackathons, meaning like we have 100 to 200 people only, and it's only for 6 hours, just building smaller projects. And it's some more community engagement as well. We want to kickstart Quack Hacks Light again so we can get more high schoolers and kind of build them up and teach them. We also want to host workshops so we can teach people, whether that's in the public or just students of different degrees that aren't familiar with technical or technical paths, that you can do this as well and just teach them some about programming. We also want to host speakers and then much more. So we're having a significantly larger event, which means we need a big team. So we just want to take the time to kind of show off we can really handle this event, this size, as we kind of talk more about that. We're built for it. We have a large team, and we want to make sure that we show this isn't really just for CS degrees. This is for everyone, so we can go to the next level. So these are the majors of all our members. We have computer science, data science, marketing, accounting, finance, psychology, advertising, and art. We're trying to get some 3 p.m. majors in there too. So if anyone wants to join, please let us know. We really just want to take the time to show that we can handle this event. We're very prepared, and our team has been through this multiple times. We're ready for this large scale event. So we can head to the next slide. So that brings us to QuackX 3. We currently are planning for May 2026. We have 2 weeks in mind, and we're really just finishing up our talks with Matthew Knight to get that date locked in. It's either going to be May 9th to 10th or May 13th to 14th, correct? Saturday and Sunday. So this event, we are planning on hosting in the Matthew Knight Arena, which I will chat a little bit more in a second. We expect to have 750 participants. So our last event was just over 200. This one's going to blow up to almost triple the size, but we are ready for it. And like we mentioned earlier, this is not just a CS event. This is for all majors. We want everyone there. Every student is invited because everyone has ideas, whether you're technical or not. You can always build. And just to touch on our team again, we're worst case scenarios. A good example is the ops team is currently talking to risk management for logistics of hosting a large scale right now. So we know that there are going to be chances of something going wrong. So we want to be prepared at all times. To add on to that as well, we are planning to host 1,000 people. Our goal is 750, but worst case scenario, we want to be prepared if we get significantly more participants. Tag on to that big goal of 750 people. We have multiple different ways of getting students actually there. One of the ways is using our connection with one of the previous deans of the computer science department. He's giving us his email chain, which will link us to all the deans of computer science in Oregon of different schools. So we'll have that. We'll be able to email different deans, basically work with the top guy and get students there. We're also working with TAO, or the Technology Association of Oregon. So they're a large technology association of Oregon, and they're going to put us out on their newsletter and email list, which is to over 25,000 people, and they're also going to host our executive on their podcast, which is really cool. And then finally, we also have a marketing firm that's willing to give us free support throughout this entire event, which is also really cool. And the next one. So Matthew Knight, like I said, we're prepared for over 1,000 participants, worst case scenario. This chart right here was actually given us directly by the one of the ops supervisors of Matthew Knight. He prepared this entire thing for us. It is approved by the fire marshals as well, so we're all good to go. We're just finishing up that last few forms. And then worst case scenario, we are prepared to work with the city if we think the event's going to go over 1,000 to get permits as well. So we can head on to the next slide. So this is our schedule. Many of you have probably seen this from our last page, but it's a fun day. We start out with our sponsorship fair and team building. Then we go into our opening ceremony, then team formation, and then our workshop / networking events. And then we have lunch. And throughout this entire time after the opening ceremony, people are just hacking nonstop and programming. Then we have mini events throughout the day to keep people energized. One of our plans right now is to have like a mini frisbee, ultimate frisbee tournament or mini basketball tournament at like 1 a.m. so everyone can get some energy going. And then Sunday we'll have our midnight meal. We'll have our project deadline, breakfast and lunch, and we'll have our project where all of our kids come out and judge these. Finally, we'll have our closing ceremony and then the award show. Next slide, please. So for our financial breakdown, I'm going to say a lot of numbers. So if anyone has any questions, if you guys want, feel free to raise your hand. I'm more than happy to stop. So I wanted to point out last year, we had a lot of slides on our PFC and last surplus, and we're very fiscally responsible. So one of the ways we this was our original projected budget was, I believe, 31,000, a little over, but we actually only ended up using 24,000, 45,000. So save us a lot of money that we have and put to our next event. The next one. So some of our sponsors, currently we have Base 44 locked in, which if you guys aren't familiar with them, they're a database platform. They actually had a Super Bowl ad, which is pretty cool. So they're going to be there with us. Then we have other sponsors that are a bunch of smaller companies like LTD, a local gaming company called Embrex. So yeah, a lot of fun. We get to bring in a lot of different people to get to work with us that are local. We also have our leftover funds from last year from sponsors, which is about $4,000. And then we have $50,000 in verbal yeses. And that's just verbal yeses. We're in conversations with a lot of other companies. So right now we have about $74,000. Most are locked in. When it comes to non-monetary sponsors, Red Bull technically isn't a sponsor, but they're providing us with drinks, so drinks never complain. We also have Nothing But Cakes and Cinnabon that's going to be giving us free snacks to start the actual events off in the mornings. And then MangoDB is going to give us, Mango Database is going to give us some prizes to give out as well. Next one, please.
So here's our budget. It's pretty hefty, the 162,000. It's obviously a big jump from our last one. As you can see, our biggest cost on there is facilities. A lot of you might be wondering why we're choosing Matthew Knight. That is because they're actually going to price match the arena for us. So Matthew Knight usually costs significantly more. For an event like this, Matthew Knight would usually cost like over 100 grand, but they're going to price match us down to around 30K. They're finalizing the budget. That extra cost though is mainly for electricity hookups. Sadly, because we have so many students coming in, Matthew Knight just isn't built for that much electricity, so we have to bring in a third party to go in and put in all this electricity hookups. I don't know the exact terminology, sorry, but I can clarify if needed. Yeah, and that's totaling about 28,000. So that's where half of that is coming from, which is painful. Our next biggest cost is transportation. We want to, actually, sorry, no, it's food. As we mentioned in our last event, food is very important. This is what keeps the students energized. If we don't have good food, people can't be there for 24 hours. I mean, nonstop. They're gonna go home and leave, and we want them to hang out with us as much as possible so they can just focus on the project and not have to worry about other things. So that's why that's a big cost, and that's mainly due to our scale. If we were to lower it significantly system-wise, then obviously less. Our next biggest cost is transportation, which I do want to mention transportation is for out-of-state students. So our main goal with this event is to have at least 450 U of O students. We will plan on prioritizing all U of O students. So if we do reach our capacity, we're only going to be letting in U of O students first, and then we'll move on to non-U of O students. So this kind of the idea behind transportation is we want to do a cool marketing thing where we can ask the school that's not U of O or Lane or OSU has the most signups within a mile radius. If you have the most signups, we're going to get you guys transportation to U of O. One caveat to this is right now, since we're working with all these deans, we haven't announced that marketing idea yet because we're working with all the deans to other schools. If we can get enough commitment from these other schools, we're going to have them pay for the buses here, which is what kind of works right now. We're kind of getting logistics out. It really just depends on how many students we can get out coming, and they're willing to pay for that. Worst case scenario, we cut it. That'll be the first thing to go in our budget because we're here for U of O, and adding other students is a big plus. Marketing is up there at about 8,000. That's mainly just shirts, kind of basic supplies, running our event. And then, oh, sorry, that was the 24,000. And then finally, our smallest one is miscellaneous costs like hosting our website and some other line items that I can get you guys if you would like. But that's our grand total, 162,000. Next one, please. So just think about missing anything. Awesome. Yeah, so then what we need with ASUL's help, which is you guys, we're asking for $20,000. If you want to give us more, we will always take more. It's kind of where our funding allocation is going for. We want to make sure that you guys know funding isn't targeted toward transportation or toward anything else. This is really going toward part of our facilities or part of our food, which is UO catering. And then as you can see up there, for the 450 students that we're estimating at least, it's going to be $44 per student, but we're kind of expecting more with our new marketing avenues that we're going down. I believe I mentioned it, but some of the ways we're going down is we're going to present the classes, have our marketing team working with us, and then we're also using a lot of the deans from the schools to make sure we're everywhere. We hope you guys start seeing soon. I believe that should be our last slide. If you want to head over to the next one. Yes, awesome. So if you guys have any questions, I know it was very long. I'm sorry.
I can also provide clarity on the reasoning for wanting to target out-of-state students. If that, I feel like that's going to be like the biggest question mark. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Definitely, once again, clear. You guys put a lot of work into planning this. Very thorough and detailed presentation. Definitely one of the biggest events we've gotten in scope so far this year. So we'll start with questions.
You offered to. You offered to answer a question why you're targeting out-of-state students. Yeah, please do.
Yeah, no, for sure. So the biggest reason for that is, like we said, and this is not all to our detriment at all. People still don't see us as a competitor in the space. They see and they think of us as huge. And a large part of that is that we really want to show these sponsors, like, hey, because they're like, you like, you sure about that? And then we need to bring these people over, not necessarily, but we'd like to have these people not only to show that our competition is attracting their current idea of top talent, but also it's beneficial for our participants because the people at UW have connections at Amazon, they have connections at Microsoft, because that is a big tech hub. And it's really going for building a network of our students. And I also just like really wanted to build the confidence in the community around the Pacific Northwest. Like it doesn't just have to be Seattle. There's Portland, there's Eugene. We need to have a vibe on us, and by bringing people around, it's what we're looking for. And a lot of these schools that are putting on large events, they're actually doing a large majority of their hackathons aren't even their own students. They actually fly people out from India, from Europe, from countries, other states, because for them, they don't really care about their community aspect. They care about saying like, okay, great, we can bring a lot of talent here. Let's poach it for our sponsors, because that's all they really care about. I really want our students to feel confident and to be put on a stage at the same level of these students, so they can really show them up, frankly, and get more out of them. Yes, I think.
I would say the only other thing is we're not necessarily targeting other schools. It would be nice to have other schools, but we're really targeting U of L students, and then that's just a secondary thing that we're going after.
Yes, I'd like to add on to that by sharing some of my views. It is really, really hard to differentiate yourself as a coder, computer scientist, or a data scientist. Everybody's doing it, including the little voice in your phone, ChatGPT. It's rough, man, and this really is not seen as the place to be doing this kind of stuff. And I think that by funding this, we're actively making one of our academic programs better, which is pretty cool. I think that there's a lot of value to that. I think that an event as large as this has great value. I think that being able to attend something like this and be seen by the people who are making hiring decisions it's a huge deal. It's like I mean to folks who are studying CS, landing that Amazon gig is like making it from like the G League to the NBA. It's like it's a huge deal, and enabling folks from our school to do that would make a lot of change in somebody's life. Thank you guys for coming here. You guys, wow, I can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine not playing the two you showed us, but like, it's kick ass. Thank you guys. Oh, wait, I haven't yielded yet. My bad. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Elite Club at UO, OS number OS377I to existing line item special events in the amount $20,000. I yield.
Motion made by Smith, seconded by Questenberry. There has been a conversation about potentially pulling some over unallocated. I feel like we should save it or save. Senator Peters.
Do you guys remember when League Club was recognized by ASU?
As in getting budget funds, or just creating?
Just being ASU recognized.
I think that was right before our time. So I would probably say last year, maybe fall term. And then last school year, sorry.
Okay.
2024. Yeah, I think 2026.
Yeah, because my only concern for senators is that unallocated reserve is technically only for organizations who within their first year of ASU recognition.
One thing I will add is, okay, I don't know if I'm maybe misunderstanding the question. This is the first year where we'll have funds from, okay.
Yeah, so recognition by ASUO is different than having a PFC budget. Okay. So you can be, there are organizations who are like ASUO affiliated but don't have a budget. So that is my only concern. But I think we have seen most of our new boards. The only thing would be that unallocated reserve carries over. So, what do we want for next year?
Thank you for clarifying.
There's also not, this is what we did in last year's Senate, is we didn't use any of our unallocated reserve, and we suspended that rule, and we let works also go from surplus. So I wouldn't worry too much about what the amount of unallocated reserve is, just because there are options to surplus.
We have the motion for 20K on the floor.
So long since I had my question, but you answered a lot of other questions I had. Just
Yeah, I also was under the impression, like, and now I know, like, 'cause I have a lot of friends who are also in CS, like, UO has like a pretty like strong, like, CS program. But, like, I know OSU, like, made, like, STEM school here, so, like, what do you think, made y'all have, like, the upper hand versus OSU? Was it, like, you made it seem like we just, like, mopped the floor.
Yeah, no, I can definitely. Is this okay with my hair? Okay, sweet. I have a bad habit of breaking my strap. That's like my second one. Anyways, so going back to your question about why we're better than MSU, we're all ducks here. I think the biggest thing is just like we're ambitious. We have to apply 10 times as much. We have to talk to 10 as many people because people see Oregon, the amount of send me a personal message and be like, oh, you're not a target school. We're not going to talk to you. Like, sorry, apply next time. Good luck. Right? Kick rocks is what drives us to push harder and harder. I think the average student here at UO definitely works over 10 times harder than the average student at Oregon. Because we are learning this thing. This is the craziest part. OSU, all the computer science schools in the state of Oregon have the same curriculum, have the same textbooks, we have the same syllabus. But because we don't have an amazing co-founder who founded NVIDIA, people don't think about us because we don't have donors that put money into our schools. They don't think that's who we are. And so the biggest reason why I think we went over there and we had just life was low with them. First was just like we were being petty because they're like, oh, they like straight up just copied our idea and created their own event, which we actually work with them very closely. Like a lot of this is tongue in cheek. We work very closely with them. We're sister hackathons. They always show up for us. We always show up for them. But we went up and we're like, okay, great. Let's show people that why we're actually like, let's actually put this forward. And so, like I said, we are ready to put the work in. We have to prove ourselves. And I think honestly, we have world-class professors. We're underutilizing them. We have people that have been lead researchers at Harvard, and yet I am just now meeting them at my senior year. I'm going to ask program that makes sense for me. Yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question. I can put some more detail into it.
That was for the clubs, actual clubs. Do y'all like teach? Is that like are you teaching? Like, because I'm familiar with LeetCode.
Yeah.
So are you like teaching people how to code you?
Yeah. So yeah, LeetCode originally started, and just for everyone who's not familiar, LeetCode is a free like practice website. So they have like over 1,000 problems, ranging from easy to hard. The easiest will literally make you take like 5 hours to do because they're not easy. LeetCode started by us actually teaching students. So we would invite students in. We'd be like, hey, great, come sit, take a seat. Here's our problem. Get like 30 minutes on your own to try and solve it. If you don't, talk to your neighbors for 5 minutes. If you don't get it there, then we demonstrate it and we teach the algorithms and stuff like that. And I know we kind of put that on the back burner now since we were really focused on growth and putting on our event. But that's something I definitely want to bring back because I was able to land my internship at Ford because I was able to go to these practices. And now I'm like able to be employed. And I want to really return that back to the students who come in and they're like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know so many people who would be so interested in that. Also, is this the same club? You know, Fetty?
Yeah.
Is it the same club he started?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just crazy. Like, 'cause I remember like going to a couple clubs. So he told me to come.
Yeah.
And it was like small, but now it's like that's insane.
Yeah, Fetty's the original founder, and he's actually working at Amazon now because he really put the work in. He worked at data services. He actually taught most people outside of the club, and honestly, he's been really inspirational for me. It's the reason why I'm here.
And then I did want to add one other thing that I slightly forgot to mention earlier, since we're talking about orgs. One of the big things that we're doing too to kind of get more participation is we're working with other student orgs and really utilizing them to build up this event stronger. So one of our problems previously was we weren't connected as much with other orgs, but for this term we have a better marketing plan, like I mentioned multiple times, to where we're going after other orgs and going to go present at their actual meetings. And like for example, Blockchain is one of the groups that we're going to be working with, and they're going to develop their own track or a challenge where it's basically a rubric and students can try and build off of that rubric, and then they get prizes for that if they win that rubric basically. So that's another big thing. We're just trying to partner with as many clubs on campus as well to really spread our name around.
And I think just to echo that, like we really are trying to present ourselves as saying like, hey, we're bringing people, tell us what you want to spread, because it's not just for WACX. We have amazing quant group, our quantitative finance, we have our women in tech team, we have our data science club, we have blockchain, which is actually world class. The president on there he's the youngest head of the blockchain group in the Pacific Northwest, and he has a lot of sway in the industry. So I really want to give people around us a platform who don't necessarily have the scale because, again, we're not a tech.
I have like another question. I mean, how y'all? You said you won an event at a MIT.
Yeah, we've placed fourth there. So at MIT Hacks, we had a student on our tech team apply, and he flew out with some people, went fourth overall. I think there's a little under 1,000 people there. That was people that were coming from Cambridge, people coming from Oxford, Stanford, all the Ivies. They were the only students that came from U of O. We did go to Carnegie Mellon Hacks, CMU Hacks. It's called Next Hack, sorry. Branding weird branding issues, and they actually won their track. So one thing that we didn't dive into with the hackathon is that there's these events called tracks. So as I said, we're working with industry sponsors. So for example, a bank like JP Morgan can work with us and be like, great, we want to develop a track because we want to hire the people who are on these projects. So the standard is that usually the top 5 projects in a category get immediate referrals and go to final round interview. And there's 6-figure or more jobs that we're really just trying to bring students into.
So, to be honest, I did forget what I was gonna ask, but this sounds super cool, and I think like it's a really cool event, and like it's really big, which is impressive. And also, I'm so sorry to do this, but like, does anyone have computers right now? No, it's just all off topic, but
It's kind of on topic.
like I was trying to look at the request, and I like don't. Oh, okay, thank you so much. But yeah, no, your event sounds super cool. I definitely support it, and so I just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for bearing with us. My question is about price for Matthew Night. Like, could you guys explain how you got the price match? Like,
I can start. Yeah, so I'll start and then the finance man will explain it in ways that I don't understand fully. So what happened originally is we were actually going to go for the Milk Center, which is the football training facility next to Autzen. That was through a mutual connection that we had with the dean of the business school, who we actually work very closely with through one of our contacts. But it ended up being a conflict because of football. Football practices there in the spring. They also have and that would be a really good look if there was like a big pool of water on the laptop. So we started talking with them, but they felt really bad that they were kind of dragging us along. And from the start, they realized that Matthew and I would have been a better fit. But through interacting with them and just building a relationship of like really letting these people know, because it's a competition, and sports people in the sports world, they love to compete. And I'm like, great, we're gonna go best football team, best track team, people come. Let's talk about like Matthew Night. They realized that our budget wasn't necessarily at the scale that they usually rented out for. But given the fact that at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of people sitting at a table with some laptops, just like scaled really highly because there's a lot of food and power supply, they were able to work out it.
And yeah, just to add on to that, the deal isn't fully finalized. We told them that our max is 30,000 to sit and work with us, so we have a feeling that that's going to lower still. Yeah, I think you kind of hit it on the dot with that one.
awesome. For a lot of other clubs that have done events there, it's like for 2 days, this would cost like $20,000 to $30,000 more. So that's so awesome that you guys were able to do that. Thank you, IU.
Your contact, see how we can get that deal spread around.
I think honestly, like just like to give some more context, like I really think they're just afraid when they hear like big numbers because they're like, sports, this is not what my field is. So they're like, okay, how can we figure it out? And a lot of the times they're like, it's just easier to say no because they're kind of in their own little world of the sports. But if you really just like, we can get to contact out to you guys because once you meet them, you talk to them, you're like my grandpa. You're like, great. Like you want to work with me? It's awesome.
You just got to talk some sports into them, then they'll be happy. So.
There's one.
I was trying to find a number and I don't know how accurate this was. All I found was 21 to 22 academic year. There was 80 bachelor's degrees for computer and information sciences at U of O. But I was wondering if you guys have like a number or a better idea, since you're probably in those schools, of like how many undergraduate students there are.
I think it's roughly around 750 right now. It's actually less than 1,000. OSU, 8,000. Definitely saw after COVID because a lot of people were like, in my life at Pinterest, and like they type away and then you can off $1,000. I wish those were the days still, but that also did that. And around when ChatGPT came out, more people were to the idea of that, which we also saw in the Bloom registration, but it's sub 1,000.
Okay, thank you so much. That really helps me. And then when you had your past one, did you see a lot of like variation in majors and the people that came, or was it very predominantly like computer science?
Yeah, so sorry. So we actually saw a lot of majors from the business field and also in the econ field. So we had a lot of people from the blockchain group show up. We had a lot of business people. Actually, two of our top finishers were just business majors. Locally, there's like one computer science major. Our first ever event, the grand winner who won first place, all three of them were freshmen. One of them was a computer science major, and the other two were entrepreneurs, and they actually run the entrepreneurship student organization now. So,
Also, to kind of add on to that, we host like these workshops during our like events, and this makes it super accessible for any major, any field to come learn like basic computer science principles, whatever you might need to like build a project. So I was sitting in these workshops around our last event, and we had full rooms full of like just business majors learning like different skills and stuff like that. Yeah, it's spread out.
Yeah, and we actually see some really cool projects. We had a high fee major come in, and he actually like visualized. It made me feel embarrassed because I was like, damn, this is my favorite. I can't do that. But it was really amazing. So it really brings out people from all sides.
One more question, maybe some more, I don't know. You said possibly, might have misheard, like in the future years, you were planning on only doing one of these, is that correct?
Yeah.
And then you did do one just back in like January of this year. Why two this year?
So mainly, this year it was our original plan was we're just gonna stick to smaller events and really not go like we were gonna stick around 200 and just slowly grow. And we knew that if we as long as we had stayed with the budget about around 25,000, we'd be fine. But then we realized this year we got a couple extra connections on our team that are well networked with a lot of different companies, and that's really where we got a lot of money from for sponsors. And that's where we realized we could just host one major event. It's gonna put us on the map as opposed to like two smaller events, and we could stick right there in that area. And then the budget is so large, we can't in 1 year. That's just not feasible, at least right now, until we are the best hackathon in the world, which will happen eventually. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, so that's kind of the ideology behind it. We would like to do two, but sadly we can't. And our original plan was to be a lot smaller.
It's like coming in and out of my brain a little bit. Okay. So if you were to cut funding or like even a portion of it, the funding for other people to come here, do you see any consequences for that for like your attendance, or do you think that people would see funding from like their own student governments or things like that to get here still?
As right now, I haven't even mentioned the buses yet, so we're not too worried about it. We already have a lot of like verbal commitments for people wanting to come in, and then also along with that, like I said, the one person that we brought into the group this year that's going to be here next year as well. She is very well connected to a bunch of different campuses, so she already has a large group of students that want to come meet up. So saying that, we kind of are already confident that we will have these large numbers. It really only comes down to we want to hit that last little ceiling, and do we have that budget? Perfect, and we're going to go ahead and do transportation. But then also we kind of going back to where if we can, it's these names of different schools to pay for their own busing, then why would we pay for it? Or if students are already committing to coming, why would we? We don't want to spend that money. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, perfect. I am kind of on that train of thought right now. I think this is a really cool event. I think the size and everything is very impressive. But yeah, like I'm kind of following that train of thought, and I think that if you don't see it harming your event or your attendance or its impact, I think that it would be a like adjustment to make.
Do you want to say just like the broadness of these types of events too? Like, I'm not a fan of AI, and I wouldn't consider myself like a tech person whatsoever. But I do, for my major, like do a lot of GIS for 3PM. For my sociology degree, I include my art, a lot for like representing grants and stuff. So like, these skills are probably attached like to different fields and stuff.
I was just wondering, so y'all said it was gonna be $44 per UO person?
Per UO student, that's only dividing our 20,000 divided by 450 students, because that's what we assume to have. And like I said, that's the low end. We're hoping with our new marketing tactics, it can be above that, but we are kind of balancing a low CS department and then trying to push more business and other majors. So,
And then for the not UO students, it's also 44 per?
I didn't do that calculation for them. It's gonna be. I feel like I mainly only use the ASUO number. If we do the total budget divided by U of O students, it's significantly larger per student. I feel more focused on showing you guys where ASUO funds are going, and they're gonna be per student.
That makes a lot of sense. I was also wondering, so I remember in the past events, y'all definitely do use AI, right?
I also don't like AI as a software engineer. The biggest thing there is that in reality it is a part of the field, but it's not something we're like, we love AI, go use AI, because I want to save patients and turtles because I don't want to live in Mary either. So that is like something that we have to now navigate without necessarily encouraging, because that isn't necessarily what we're for. We're here to bring students in to bring their technical skills. I mean, I can hard code things, so
Yeah, that actually was kind of what my question was. Was just as people who are closest in the field, like if y'all would like to answer too. I know I have my opinions on AI, but I'm super far away from computer science stuff. So I was just wondering what y'all think specifically, just out of curiosity, not to impact my vote.
like just on general AI.
Yeah, like how do you feel about AI in relation to the stuff that you do, I guess, and the stuff that you want to do?
Yeah, not to get off those soapbox. Philosophical, like you guys. I'm actually writing my honors college thesis, like on the impacts of AI and all that, et cetera. And so, it's two major things. Number one thing is that it makes CS accessible to everyone. The number two thing is that it makes CS accessible to everyone. A large part of that is that there are companies out there where you're like, great, let's make a banking app. Click a button, boom, it's nice and shiny. But as a software engineer, I can look at it and be like, Jesus Christ, everything's like out there. Like I can just like click a prompt in there and send that out to you. And a lot of our team members are actually like in the field of like machine learning, which like has now been taken over by AI in general. There's a lot of there's a lot of subcategories of machine learning, but now the buzzword is called like AI, LLM. There is a place for it, I believe, in some aspects, but it's definitely a liability in like the way that a lot of companies are navigating how they incorporate it. Unfortunately, it is a skill that people have to learn now, because a lot of companies are switching from that lead code style interview to being like, great, use ChatGPT. You have a day. And if you don't build it using the tools that you have, because it's feasibly impossible to build it without the tool, they're not going to hire it. And honestly, one thing that, not to get again like too much to myself and my philosophical like values, I really want to go into these fields because I need to like make sure people are like, hey, this is being used ethically. B, this is harming people. And C, this is being used accountably. Because if we have a lot of people that are on our team who are building AI trackers, one of my personal, the same team that actually won at Carnegie Mellon, they built an app that would track, okay, great. This is how many times you're using AI in your workday. These are the questions you're asking, and it highlights red every single time you use something that sensitive information, be that phone number or email, things that don't violate people's privacy. We have a lot of that standing here because a lot of people I would like to think are on my side. Greg is a computer science major as well, that we just want to make sure that people are using this ethically. But yeah, like I said, it's also an amazing tool because it does lower the barrier for people. A lot of people are nervous to learn computer science because it's really hard. It's not really easy. I'm dyslexic, so reading the code, I'm like, I got glasses. I didn't wear glasses before because I've been staring at my screen for hours, and I'm like, what the hell does that say? But it does make it accessible in that way because I actually have like an extension in my editor that like will help it be easier to read for people that have dyslexia. So I'm just like, okay, great. I know what that says. There are aspects there, but yeah, sorry. It's like really, I could talk about this for like hours, like more than my TED Talk. Greg, sorry.
No, you're good. I'll keep mine kind of short. I'm actually a new CS major. I came to this school as a psychology major. And I will say, I think AI use is great if it's ethical. Personally, in my experience, I don't think I could have started computer science without the aid of just like AI being able to like kind of fill in the gaps of where I kind of just like don't know things. Like CS is like learning basically another language. So all those little like syntax things and stuff, instead of having to walk 30 minutes to my office hours, if I can just ask AI real quick, like, is this correct for the syntax? Just like little things like that definitely help.
And it's interesting because our department is also becoming a lot more AI open. When I'm a senior, but I'm accelerating masters. When I came in, they're like, "Do you use AI? I'm gonna like kick you out of school." Blah blah blah. Now they're like, I asked them a question. My prof's just like, "Just ask ChatGPT," and I'm like, "What am I paying you for?" Like, not to be rude, but I'm like, isn't this like kind of detrimental? But something that our department has really been preaching and teaching is ethical use of AI. I'm in an entrepreneurship class for CS, and one of the biggest things that they push on us every single time: use a prompt, write that on your AI usage log, look at every single thing that you use, and thoroughly test it. Because, like I said, AI is amazing. You can do a lot of things, but if you're not testing your code and realizing that, oh crap, my credit cards are encrypted and are unencrypted, and anyone can steal them, then that's not a safe, ethical use of it. So, yeah.
I'm a finance major, so I'm very high level. I will say, like, my biggest problem with AI, I like they're saying, it's a great tool. But like I'm from the Hillsborough area, and right now all the land is being bought up and turned into data centers, which is a problem because it's one thing if you're hiring a bunch of people, but the fact that it's only one security guard running the entire thing is just not great. It's taking up all that land, especially when it's nice to drive in the back roads, and now I can't do that. Same with like my grandparents live in Hermiston, and now all that area down there is data centers as well. So it has its place, but I think there are a lot of problems and risks that people aren't ready for. So, and also the way the companies act too. I'm not the biggest fan of, especially OpenAI.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate your guys' takes on that. And I also hope that you talk about those things amongst each other. I mean, I'm not in your spaces, but I really hope you do keep like the discourse going about the ethicality and the impacts. But I really appreciate that you're all thinking about it. Okay, you'll
Okay, I just have a couple questions in regards to the Matthew Knight contract. How sure are you about that Matthew Knight price? Only because I know that other student organizations have been given a price, you know, a couple months out, and then after the event are charged way more. So how confident are you in those talks?
Yeah, so we're fairly confident in the fact that we have been very clear. We're like, hey, don't have $100,000 to blow on this venue, and we have constant communication. I'm like, give me a detailed budget on this, and they send me I-9 for that. The budget for the electricity is like Joaquin said, the biggest aspect of that. Just to give you guys a little bit of like insight into that. Essentially, what we have to do is hire an electrician because I don't want to fire very clearly or trip the break at the Matthew Knight. So we have to hire an electrician, and what essentially they will be doing is tapping into an industrial outlet they have because they hook consoles there. They will then send that into what these things are called spider boxes. Imagine a box with like 8 outlets on it, and our electrician, they will safely break up that amperage into 8 amps or less than 8 amps per outlet, so that way people can have the computer plugged in and then not worry about it catching on fire. That isn't a huge budget, but honestly, at the scale that we're looking for, and like we keep reiterating, the two biggest things that I want as a participant is good food, because I don't want to be going to an event and eating a cold Chipotle burrito or not having my dietary needs met, which happens at every single hackathon. And I want to be able to charge my iPhone and my laptop without it dying and me having to take time off of my app.
Another thing with that too is we are getting a written letter from them saying that this is the amount, because we are worried about that too. We don't want to come back around and then not have money for it. And worst case scenario, we do have all of our emails, all of our logs, and we'll have that written format as well. So if we do need to take it any further, we're
So then my other question is, so everything is included in that 30-ish K?
Yeah, that's what we're finalizing, and we're going to get all the line items for. We're hoping it won't fluctuate too high or too. It would be great if it actually. But yeah, everything will be included in the one quote. They're going to include cost for security, because I believe they said they want to provide their own security. Cost for actually having attendees there. Yeah, and then that's a 5% fee, but that's more on the electricity side because we have to get UO consulting so they can outsource their electricity stuff. But as for like that 30K, everything's going to be in that quote. And thank you for pointing that out. We are going to double check. I didn't realize that they had that problem, so we'll make sure to get everything in writing and have it all there.
Yeah. Please make sure you do that, only because last year Hawaii had their blowout in the in Matthew Knight, and then after the event happened, they were charged an additional $10,000. So that's my biggest concern is just making sure that you solidify that in writing, only because I know how much that price fluctuates. Are you needing light and sound from them at all?
No, that's one of those things that they actually did mention. They were like, we brought up the fact that we couldn't afford Matthew Knight at first. But they were like, oh, well, the reason why these other events cost so much is because they pay for sound and lighting, which is like half the budget. So we're not gonna be using sound and lighting. We talked through everything with them. One other thing I want to add as well. Oh yeah, we have a great ops team. Shout out Greg over here. They're going through all the logistics and they're going to make sure that everything is planned out to the T. So when it does come to after the event, if they try and come up with some random charge, we're not going to allow them to do that. Like I said, they're already talking to the risk management team as well to make sure that we have everything in line and prepared for our event.
Okay, and then last question, I'm just asking from experience, is trash included in the cost of this?
Good question. We'll know that.
Highly recommend that you figure out trash. That's going to be a problem if it's not included in the facilities cost, and you will be charged extra for it if you don't do this. So you can call waste management. They can set it up. So I don't have time. Thank you. Those are all my questions. Thank you.
Senator Chisholm.
In theory, that sounds great, and it's events like this that is gonna like get somebody. The person I owe to is famous. This is where it starts. So I feel like for the minute, like I'm in it, but I do have. Okay. Why are you ordering this?
Yeah, so sadly with the Crumble, or sorry, not Crumble, Cinnabon and Bun Cake, thank you. Bun Cake, they're only providing 100 of the mini bun cake, so it's going to be first come, first serve for those. And then Cinnabon, we're still working out the logistics with them, whether they want to provide that first day, because we're already going to have sweets that day, or the next day. And then we're still working on logistics about how much they're actually going to supply us for. So that's kind of where we're coming from that angle. We want to make sure everyone is fed and prepared for the actual day. I believe on the first day, we might have run the itinerary, but I think we're only having lunch that day because it might start a little later. Yeah, so if we had them there, sorry. But yeah, that's kind of where we're coming from. Did I put in there correctly? Lunch and dinner, yeah. So we're just going to start out with lunch, and then the next day we're going to have breakfast and lunch. Yeah.
They 1,000 people come. Will you have all the interested to be able to basically service the 1,000 people?
Yeah. So we're budgeted for 1,000 people. Actually, I think this one is probably budgeted for around 850 to 900 people. So worst case scenario, we do want to have an additional surplus of funds. That's why we're going forward with sponsorship. And like I said, if we don't meet where we want to be for our buffer amount, we're going to cut transportation. That'll be the first thing to go. Like I mentioned earlier, we're really trying to be fiscally responsible as much as possible. So we're going to be prepared for any outcome that happens, whether that's 1,000 people or not 1,000.
On top of that, we also have a lot of communications questions. We actually are getting people from those clubs to come work at volunteers. So a lot of the things is just like, hey, my code is broken. Can you fix it? And then it takes two heads being like, great, let's do that. On top of that, operations team is working with our industry partners to secure judges. Well, our last event, we actually had judges fly in themselves on their own time from Meta to come and help judge. And we had a really expansive spreadsheet with a lot of calculations that we had our quant guy do. And quantitative is just like all the data stuff. Like, I don't know, I'm terrible at statistics stuff. That we've really taken into account of that because after food and I think it's like, great, you've been here for 24 hours, you're hot, you're sweaty, you're gross. We don't want judging to take 5 hours, and we want everyone to get the same amount of judge because the same amount of judging. A lot of these events will end up being like, great, hopefully you get 4 judges, you get 1, you get booted to the bottom. So,
and to put it short, we're just over preparing for everything. So we're ready for the worst case scenario. And that's really where Greg comes in and his team. Right now, they're kind of slowing down since not much work in this meantime, and they're just preparing for any possible outcome that could happen. We want to be prepared, so we know that with 750 to 1,000 people, something's bound to go wrong.
like each meal will be under.
Yeah, so the way we have a matrix basically that says for lunch on the first day on Saturday, it's going to be 100% of our participants, which I put at, I believe 850 on there, times whatever price it is per meal. And then from using, I don't know if you mentioned before, MLH certified Major League Hacking. It's the main hacking organization that watches kind of over all these hackathons and promotes and helps out. They give us a lot of data about how hackathons run, and it's the same we used for our last event, where I think for dinner on the first day we have around 80% participants. So then it lowers it down, and then midnight we have about 40%, which we have to actually up this time because we already did it here, but last time we had a little fiasco with our midnight snack. And then so basically we have a matrix that tells us at this point there should be this percent of all participants there, and then we include all of our organizers that are there, all of our vendors that are there, judges, sponsors, so on and so forth. Sorry, that was very boring, but it's gonna be I think that'll be a fixed cost. I'll let you touch on that.
Yeah, so excuse me. The biggest cost for Matt and I, like we've reiterated, is power. A lot of that is just like we have to contract outside people. So like, okay, great. The university likes to make one out of it's a 5% fee because here's a 10% fee for consulting. Here's 5% fee because they have to pay our employees. By law with that. He did say that it would come down a little bit, but it's not significant. We do have a plan with the vaccine to be essentially only paying for spaces for use. So we can be like, okay, great. We need floor, this part, and they'd be like, great. And the only charges for the areas that we're renting there. But yeah. And sorry, the last part about that is like the food. We're gonna open registration early, and our tech team is working really diligently. Not the employees, but we have the best hackathon, so I'm saying. I'm very confident, as you guys can't tell. And we will be keeping track of detail of how many people show up. And going back to what Joaquin said, MLH just provide a number. In fact, I believe it's 70% of people who sign up show up. So you could have like 5,000 people, but only 70% will show up. So we're always buffering all these numbers, and then
Also, I don't ask these questions as if you guys can't do it because anything is possible, but I just think, you know, if there's like a storm, think like. I was also curious about the verbal yes 50K. So is the 50K that was verbal yes in that pie chart?
Yeah, can we go back a couple slides? Is that okay? Please, thank you. Right there, perfect. So verbal yes is basically they said they want to sponsor us. We're talking about logistics right now, and we've sent over the invoice and we're just waiting. Base 44, we already have that money in our account. The others, we already have that money in our account as well. Like I said, LTD, Embrex, and a couple other companies as well. A lot of those mini sponsors that are like 1,000 or less. And then we have leftover, which is already in our account. So the verbal yes is really just negotiating like the last little bit of details and then sending the invoice, and we're just waiting for money to show up.
A lot of it's also like corporate like bureaucracy because JP Morgan gave us a verbal yes for 50,000, and they're like, okay, great. Here's my manager. Here's my other manager. You have to get like 10 yeses, and I'm like, okay, great. The money coming yes or no, and then it will. So a lot of it's just working out the details because there's a lot of things that go into that other than planning with them. It's like if they want to do a track, great. Here's our operations guy. If you want to do sending people to do that, stock prices. We really like to finalize everything, so when we send the invoice, they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Worst case scenario, we pray we don't have no offense. We pray we don't have to see you guys again. But like we said, the buses are about $30,000. So if we don't have enough money, we're gonna cut the buses first. And if we don't have enough money, then we may come back. It's a very small chance. Apart from our verbal yeses, we have responses of people that are more than interested of $100,000 plus, but we know that maybe only 50,000 are actually going to say verbal yeses, and maybe only 25,000 are going to go from there. So we're prepared. We feel very confident about our funding right now. We're not really too worried about it. So I would say worst case scenario, you guys might see us back, but I'm afraid we don't see you guys again. So
that we're currently working with not only like state funded firms. There's one and there's legislative work, and they have a lot of federal grants that are also distributed for companies. Met with the president earlier today, actually, like at 5. Really interested in sponsoring us, but our sponsorship doesn't stop at all. Like any event, we're just going to reach out to people because we really need building these connections. One of our the person that you keep referencing to is she's a superstar. She has a lot of connections. She's really vetted in the field. Worked at VC firms, sold multiple companies. So she has a lot of people in her back pocket that were like, thank God for helping us.
And worst case scenario, we do have a commit of $30,000. We can't really mention who it's from, but it's an on-campus department where if it's an emergency fund and we are scared for our lives, then we can tap into that as well. So.
You consent to already do an ethics mayor workshop?
Yeah, so that was one thing that we've already been discussing, which is realizing the ethics and talking about that. One of our professors that I want to bring you to is Phil. He's actually the one teaching the entrepreneurship class, talking about the ethics of it. It's just like, hey, you're hurting people with this thing. So are you going to use it wisely, and are you actually going to use it to your benefit? Really emphasizing that, because like I said strongly, I'm writing my Jesus sentence. I'm really passionate about. People that are going to make the change in 5 years are the people that are in this room right now. So really emphasizing to people like, hey, really think about what you're doing. There's a stereotype in our field that people are uncaring, you're unwarranted, but it's not that at all. A lot of it is just like there's a lot of discourse around, hey, don't go to school, go to a boot camp, you'll make $150,000. You know why they want to do that? It's because they don't want you to use your brain. They don't want you to be a cognitive thinker. They don't want that's something we're trying to fix it. That's something I don't stand by at all, because being educated and making decisions is not only like a right for everyone, it's like a privilege when you're in these spaces. Every single time you can.
Workshop. And so the ethics part is part of the entrepreneur.
That was so it's actually through the computer science, it's just through the computer science school. I'm not sure what we can do. One thing that we do have to figure out is like where we can host workshops, because it's just a big basketball court. You're like, okay, go to the baseline, like if maybe like ship class. I really want to make sure that it's not something that is just like, okay, like go here and like people can dismiss it. It needs to be something that can be really precise, something that I still want to talk about. It's just probably my city. So I think it's more than one to spend a minute out of our 5-minute presentation to be like, be considered. So sorry, I really didn't answer your question. Yeah, we can just host it for everybody. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, no, that's maybe take more than a minute. I think it's really like you telling me about the data. It's not only the looking from community, so last thing. So say that this is like you reach the whole 1,100 people, like everything goes great. Surplus is not as big as it was for the last few years, and that number until the pandemic happens. So I was wondering what y'all consider about like taking especially rebates.
Yes. Yeah, we can talk about that. The one thing that we have considered ticketing, we talk about it as an organization. I think the biggest thing that we want to do now is that if we like Sunshine and Rainbows, I think goes great. We're like, damn, get all of people. We're not going to double it. We're going to stay at this growth so we make it sustainable. A large part of that's creating these industry connections, these industry partnerships, because now it's not going to be this branding school. It's going to be finance. It's going to be school. The ticketing aspect, the part that is hard for me is that I grew up in Nickenville. I'm working at the richest town in the world, and a large part of it, I'm Mexican. Like, it's not really affordable for people to get into these spaces. I don't want to for anybody. There's already such a high barrier of entry. Being like, okay, you have enough privilege that you can spend 10 hours to stare at a computer screen. When I was in high school, I couldn't do that. I had to go work at Domino's at 110 and like sweaty and miserable, so I could help my parents. And like I'm putting myself through school. Like that's one thing. It's like, if I can make this as low as a barrier as possible to people, so get a life-changing amount of jobs offers.
I'll kind of add on to that. I think we should like the big affiliate group that we work with. One of the main things for them having events that are accessible to everyone. And with that, one of their biggest rules is no entry charge. because that, as you mentioned, automatically takes out a lot. So that means we wouldn't be able to work with them, get the publicity from them, their website, hold all the upcoming hackathon events. That is a lot of our, especially outside of Oregon. So yeah, we definitely want to.
You did touch on kind of future and surplus not being where it might be at. And our goal is, like Anthony was saying, growing our network right now and building up crazy big events so that maybe in a year or two, we can choose who want to sponsor us. We don't have to be out. Right now, my team, each person works 10 hours a week, reaching out to hundreds of companies. We have an Excel sheet with, I think, 500 plus lines of just companies we've reached out to. So the plan is we're at a certain point where we can just choose which sponsors we want to bring on, and then we'll call it good right there. We don't have to come to surplus anymore. So that's the long-term goal. That's one of the reasons why we're bringing it down to one event here.
I absolutely agree with the accessibility, especially for price and stuff, but I guess I'm just thinking, like, realistically, we're at a college campus and a lot of students are very privileged and their parents are paying for their school. I'm just, there's this thing that happens at like house shows when law with saying no one not admitted for lack of funds. And so when you have like a price that somebody could pay, but if you say like no one's gonna be denied for not paying, the people who can pay will feel a little pressured to give a little something, especially if they have a lot of money on the side. And I think like, so I think maybe if it made me feel better if y'all could do something like that. Like if you can donate at all, like maybe have just like circulate a donation something or something, or just like have a price, but be like, it's not necessary to pay this price, just if you can. I think that would be really helpful for this future. And also if this kind of people come, like it'd be so great just to have that extra money in your pocket so you can continue to do more extravagant things. But yeah, I really definitely don't feel comfortable like ask for donations, because there will be a lot of people, if there's a lot of companies there, there will be guaranteed like a bunch of college students who do have a lot of money. Yeah, it's a privilege to go here, and like yeah, I think those two things would make me feel confident about saying yes to this, just maybe more than a minute on the ethics, and then also any type of donation, or like as I said, no just like you don't have to let them pay, but if you have a number, I think it's
The one thing that I definitely understand where you're coming from. If I get a little personal right now, like for me, I'm paying for all my school. I'm working 3 jobs right now. I'm CFC, interning, I have 2 internships, and then like I'm doing a bunch of stuff, right? And like I'm paying rent, and that's about what I have money for. And I'm grinding, trying to pay my way through school. I like, for me, whenever I have like been to events like that, I always feel like slightly ashamed going there, and then like everyone else is paying, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna pay. But then I feel bad, and I feel forced to pay. That's like kind of the one area where I would feel bad if we do like, if people are in groups and then they don't have money but they feel forced to pay. Or that's like our one house like right. So, but I totally understand. Also, I just want to give context. Yeah, we said our company speech should be 5 minutes, but
maybe it would take some different like way of paying.
I like your donation idea. That's
I respect that you have the things that you're doing and all.
Thank you.
Then we're on the second list. We have been debating for an hour now, so I am gonna end debate, but I do want to ask one, like a show of hands. We have a motion for 20K from surplus. Who, raise your hand if you would be interested in turning that into 10K from unallocated and 10K from surplus. I will 15.5, so it's not too. Okay, 15.5. There's no hands.
Yeah, it's 15 and 5.
15.5, yeah. Someone want to make a motion? Amend the motion. I move to amend. You moved to unallocated.
So fun talking about this. I can't even lie. I'm ready. I'm like, let me just get a sip of water. I'm like, Move to authorize spending from surplus to Leap Club at UOOS OS 377I to line item special events in the amount of 15,000.
This will be a vote to change the current motion on the floor. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the motion has now been changed to 15,000. And you want to make a motion? Or no, let's vote on that now. Then vote. Perez. Aye. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill. Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Offerday. Heffernan. Amadiepe. Chisholm. Nagaraj. Stevenson. Purdue. Smith. Bailey.
Aye.
Morel. Madariaga.
Aye.
Westbury.
Aye.
Lumen.
Aye.
And I say aye. Congratulations, guys.
I move to authorize spending from unallocated reserves to Leap Club at UO OS 377I to line item special events in the amount of 5,000.
Motion made by Perez, seconded by Questenberry. Starting with Perez.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Emile.
Aye.
Taylor. Smith. Offerday. Heffernan. Amadiepe. Chisholm. Nagarajan. Stevenson. Purdue. Smith. Bailey.
Aye.
Madariaga.
Aye.
Questenberry.
Aye.
Lumen.
Aye.
And I say aye. Thank you, guys.
Questions, feel free to grab my number. I'll invite it as well. Yeah, we'd love to hear your face. That's the best part, is, you know.
Thank you,
like-
Three. Yeah, this seems to guys.
Thank you, very happy. Thank you all, seriously. All right, go home, you guys deserve it. If you don't have to, then I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then next up, we have over realized request that we heard from Daniel Banky weeks ago about the ISS emergency funds and the amount of 50K. Daniel is on Zoom if you guys had any extra questions, but we did get a presentation on this that I'd like to just vote. If you guys are down. Okay. There wasn't an official presentation for it, but it was you were here, were you? Basically it's 50K, it would go to ISSSS and they would distribute it the way they distribute emergency funds to international students now. The maximum amount that they can apply for is 1,500, but there's like kind of a board that evaluates like how much each one will get dispersed as, so that's the max amount. So the max amount of students we could reach with this is about 33 international students, but it will probably be around more like 45 or so. And there's also kind of like a trust that they have that was depleted during COVID, and they feel like this would give them the ability to replenish that, and so they wouldn't need to come back and ask for this over and over again.
With the university, cared about students enough to raise money like we do with our money. But I'll vote yes.
Senator Stevenson.
So the language would be, I move to authorize spending from over realized to group ISSS student aid fund in the amount of, how much was it?
$50,000.
$50,000. Do I need anything else or is that the motion?
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded by Ludeman.
I yield.
Motion's on the floor. And Senator Heffernan.
Well, the reason we didn't vote on was because over realized had approved it, so could we hear their opinion on it and like go over their scorecard and stuff first? Thank you.
We'll do Senator Smith and Chisholm, and then we're gonna end this discussion on PFC or let over realized new presentation. Not now, because we're gonna do the presentations.
Okay.
Thank you. Senator Chisholm.
I'm just gonna say, if anyone's feeling doubtful with this request, like international students are one of the reasons I think our school is so great. Learning has a lot to do with getting different perspectives, and the rest of the world does not function like America. So I'm really glad that this is like an opportunity that we have to fund, especially at this time. And international students are very valuable.
And we'll go to a presentation from the overrealized. Either way.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to have some large event advice. So we evaluated this 2 weeks ago. We gave it, I just sent our scorecard in the chat. I believe we gave it a 32 out of 48. So we added one more thing to our scorecard, which is longevity. So in order to be recommended to Senate, you need to score a 28 or higher on the scorecard. So this scored a 32. The only things that we didn't score high were novelty and physical development of campus. But like I said, we still scored it high. We as a committee supported this. I don't know if any of my other committee members say anything.
Yeah, I'm on the committee and I definitely want to vouch for this. I think it's like really important. What is it, 33 students? I think it's
33 students, yes.
Yeah, so that's minimum, yeah, exactly. So it's not like the most expansive thing, but I just think it's really important for us to I think it's really important like for us to be funding things like this because I think every little bit like does help. And they can reach more students as well, like by giving they might be able to spread out more. Also I met an international student at a club like last week and it was super cool. She was telling me some crazy stuff about like her life after graduation. And it just was like really hard. Like she would talk about all her struggles about finding a job that would like sponsor her visa and everything. So it just sounded like really complicated. And I think that yeah, we should be able to support it. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been to committee, but I missed the last meeting when people talked about it. But I do think that it is a very important thing to fund. Also because I think I've forgotten what I oh yeah, I sort of consider it kind of like we give money to orgs because they can do the best for their community. So we should give this money to ISSS because they can do the best for their community because ultimately Senate can make all these resolutions that are opposing ICE and we can all believe that that the borders are problems and stuff like that. But this is a great way to actually take action on those beliefs. Yeah, I yield.
Roger.
Yeah, so detail that I think is like important to know is like when you apply to get your F1 visa, like something that you need to show is like proof that you can pay for all tuition. So it's like you have to like show that you have funds and it has to be like and like the people in the department they know like most people don't have it. So a lot of these students, a lot of them, they just have like, they borrow money and they have it there and just for paper so they can like they can confirm okay this person has the funds and they can check it off and then you can go apply and get your visa. But like most people don't have that. So like the need for like I myself I've had to ask them for like money like the emergency fund. So I know like firsthand like this is like gonna like easily help a lot of people like and like they're probably not even joking like there's like probably what do you say 35? 30? That's like for sure they're gonna get that. But yeah, you have to pretty much show that you can pay upfront. Like no one can actually pay upfront. They just make it look like they have the funds. But anyway,
And ISSS, in my opinion, working with them, like they've been one of the few departments I've worked with where it's like they truly seem like all they care about is helping students. Like they just like as soon as you ask like, hey, how can we support you? Like we have this. We've been trying to do this. We've explored this avenue. Like most departments I've interacted with are very much so like we do our thing. You're asking me questions. It's really annoying right now. So like I've enjoyed my interactions I've had with ISSS. Senator Questenberry.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo that also as a committee member that if there's one department that absolutely cares about their students, it's the ISS, that this is their exact purpose, and that this was the need for this money is due to the current political administration, and that this was unforeseen, and that the ISS has an existing emergency fund that they run out of, and to buy them time to allow that fund to replenish on its own. That's what this money is here for. And so I think that this is the perfect thing we can do to directly help international students right now, is to provide this money. We have a motion on the floor, so I'm gonna call the question. Or are we still in presentation?
Thank you
for
the comment on it too.
My bad, so the only thing is, over-realized funds are not charged an overhead fee. So there will kind of be like an automatic 7% fee charged if we're approving the 50K amount. My personal opinion is that we should increase it to account for that at least a little bit, because like 7.7% of 50K is what, like $4,000 or $5,000. Speaker deal.
It's $3,500.
So that's $3,500 for the students. I think it wouldn't hurt to just go to 55 to 454. Have the wiggle room. They can help as many students as possible. Or
I made the motion, right?
I yield to Senator.
You'll still be making a motion to amend either way, we'll have to vote on it, but it's cool either way.
I move to amend my motion, I move to authorize, funding from Over-Realized to Group ISSS Student Aid Fund in the amounts of $55,200.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded by Bailey. This is just a motion to change the amount. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay, and the amount has now been changed. And we'll have Daniel Gaten speak. Secretary, thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, first of all, I will say thank you very much for this opportunity, and I really appreciate it. And international student also appreciate everything that you are all doing and discussing about them. And so just to give the house an update, so Becky reached out to me that they have awarded 8 students funds to support them because they had 8 students who were in serious needs, so they had to support them with this the funds that they already had. So I believe that what we are passing now will definitely be very, very supportive to them, especially going to spring and summer as well. Summer, they have the highest need of students coming on board. So I believe that this will be very, very helpful. Thank you very much. That's the update that I wanted to give the house.
And that does conclude the list, so we can go to vote now. Starting with Perez, Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill. Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Opperday.
Aye.
Pepperday.
Aye.
Ammonife.
Aye.
Chisholm. Nagarajan. Stevenson. Purdue. Smith. Bailey.
Aye.
Rao. Diaga.
Aye.
Westbury.
Fisher, aye by proxy. Westbury, aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, all senators. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Just so you know, we still have to finalize the contract, so let's meet next time I see you, we'll talk about that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving forward into updates. We'll start with the Finance Committee, PFC.
No crazy PFC updates. We're gonna meet next week on Tuesday at 6 o'clock to amend our bylaws so that academic senate can maybe be involved and also just to clarify some stuff. So nothing crazy. And then also Over-Realized Committee, we're done meeting for the term. Applications for the fund will be closed on April 15th. And we're gonna vote on all of them in one go after that. So please reach out if you want the link to fill out the form, and please send it to people that you know.
CFC.
Pretty much the same here for CFC. Nothing crazy to update y'all on this week. We didn't meet this week. We will be meeting next week at 6:45. On Tuesday. So yeah, that's all I yield.
We'll be going over your stuff too.
Oh, yeah. If we're bringing that up. So the child care, sorry, that I talked about, or we've been talking about for a really long time, and went over at Budget Bonanza, is now finalized. The procurement is completed, which means that we're going to start talking to the new providers that have bid on this contract for the child care facility. So you guys will be getting updates on that in the future.
And I think we received 3 bids that we're going to be looking through. So. And DFC.
Awesome. Yeah, we met on Tuesday, but we don't have a lot going on right now. We're also going to do our bylaws. That's spring break work. And we're going to be doing a small project with exec. And yeah, just kind of hanging out. So let us know if academic senators need us to do anything. Send out messages. Thank you.
Right now, Chair Stevenson.
So I have given up on doing weekly meetings this term. This will be the first time we do bi-weekly meeting. We have to do weekly meetings again at the start of next term. I just could not find a time that worked for everyone to save the life of myself. From there, we have a lot of events coming up. I will talk about mine in a little bit, but for right now, I'm going to yield to Senator Chisholm.
Hello. Update on affinity org liaison committee. So have some more responses, and I'm just gonna kind of say some things that we learned from these affinity orgs, as that's the point of this group. Okay. Feelings about ASUO. Some people feel like we should be more communicative and add things to our Canvas page. Okay. Also, 2 comments here, but they're both about PFC. I don't know if I should read these out exactly, but I understand the situation was a little, but I get feedback. PFC tag, this is a personal, but kind of lied to them about their budget and then let them down when they went to their budget hearing, hard for them to make more visible. And then it also says, they got approved, one group got approved for a budget increase and then later it got denied and there was no communication on why that was the case. So, yes, of course. Yeah, but also maybe on next things, Eric, we can also say the PFC situation a little bit better. So maybe I should talk to you all about it. More electric.
Oh yeah, I know.
Our little it's surplus and also soft areas, all these soft to really help. Yes, and I also have some dates here, but they're more in May, so I guess a little later.
And for PFC, that's not just one club. Context.
Okay.
And then from there, Senator Smith, are you good?
Oh yeah, I'm chilling.
Okay, I'm going to yield to you now.
Oh, I'd like that very much. Yeah. I'm gonna stand up in front of it. It's one of those. Hi guys, sorry I'm out of breath. As you may have heard, like a week ago, a student was kidnapped from student housing at Columbia by ICE. They said they were there to find a missing person and like a missing child, they said, and lied their way past security, then past the person who was in charge of administrating the housing, and the door of the person who let them in thinking they're being a good Samaritan. Yeah. I understand that there hasn't been a lot of visible ICE activity here in Eugene. But if it happened there, it will happen here. We're in danger, we're next, and if we don't do something, this will be our fault because we are in the know and we have the power to do something. I'm really sorry about that. I plan on having more breath for this. Yeah, if something feels disconcerting in the air, if it feels uncertain, if you feel frightened or anxious, it's because you should be. We're at war against secret police in our country, in our state, in our communities, with the express intention of dividing us from each other. We've made it explicitly clear in our priorities and our decisions lately that we're in favor of having affinity orgs and orgs full of folks doing cool shit you don't ordinarily see in Oregon. Those people are international students. Some of them are dreamers. Some of them are just brown and will be arrested on the street for looking the way that we do. A way that I've chosen to go out trying to take action is trying to build an alert network that I've been pouring out to you guys for a couple weeks now. I need help posting for this shit. If you haven't found a way to do something about ICE activity yet, this is a really easy out, really easy way to get to it. Because it's important. The network that I'm trying to build is power in your pocket to protect yourself against ICE. It is the ballot in your box to show that you're against this kind of action. And it is the stronghold here in our community. We talk about having a sanctuary campus. That's not made in papers or resolutions or documents. That's made by the people who build up a sanctuary. Sanctuaries have walls. Sanctuaries have gates. Who will be the gatekeeper here to protect our community? It should be us, because we're getting paid way more than we deserve to be servants to our community. And I don't think that there's anything more important than serving the community in the way that allows them to continue to be community members. This funding shit does not matter if there's no one to fund. It's incredibly important, and there's not enough action. I want to thank everyone who is doing shit. I want to thank everyone who's going to protests and whatnot. I want to thank all of you for being here, despite the fact it's way later than we expected. And talk to me after to help my thing. I yield.
My events feel irrelevant now, but here we go. So
actually, they're cool.
So next term, academic committee, prepare yourselves. State of the Union address is coming, which means class rep prior to are coming. I'm going to do a much better job of communicating scripts to you guys and where you're going to be going and all of those things, but I'm going to be working closely with exec on that. In the coming weeks, exec is hopefully going to teams each and every one of you individually. We're going to be postering. We're going to be putting up posters in the building specific to our major for the upcoming events that they are doing. Yeah, teams me if you have any questions, and I'm going to yield to Senator Madariaga.
If I don't have a major, like what building should I like? Okay, bet. And then yeah, so am I ready to do my? So clothing drive has concluded. As you all should know, you've seen the piles of clothes. I will be calling the Open Safety Lines tomorrow. Yes, thank you all for your help. People who donated and worked tailored shifts and whatnot. Since it is still in the suite, like if anyone has any last minute donations, y'all can bring those in if you want to, like till the end of till Friday. But basically, I'm calling Open Safety Lines tomorrow. I want to make sure they know we're coming, but I will be sending a message in Teams to everyone, depending on like what they say. But I'm hoping that we can get those over there tomorrow. So if people have cards, please respond to my Teams message. Look out for it tomorrow. Need people to drive the clothes over there. So yep, and that's it. I'll yield back to Senator Stevens.
Thank you so much, Senator Smith again.
Oh yeah, I left out some key information. At the moment, I'm in talks with Gio and Eric from LMA to get some kind of like help and partnership on the alert network. Reaching out to affinity orgs is powerful and helpful. If you're connected to an affinity org that you think might be interested in backing such a project, also let me know. Thank you. Thank you. See you soon.
Cool. If any of these projects sound cool to you guys, feel free to participate. Thank you so much. I yield.
Ombudsperson Heffernan.
Performance evals went out today. They're all in your inboxes. I also just wanted to say, since it was brought up, not in the context in which it was brought up, but just because it was, and we had like a lot of good conversations within it. I do just want to restate what it does mean to be viewpoint neutral, because IP fundings require viewpoint neutrality, but only on the vote. So you are completely allowed to voice your viewpoint, explain exactly where your problems are. It just can't be the criteria with which you make your vote. So you need to do only consider factors that are not tied to the viewpoint, like their fiscal responsibility, the relevance to their specific mission, and the level of services provided. Other than that, the grievance template that I sent out was wrong. Don't use that. Go to the ASU Gov website and fill out the one that Concord has put on there for you. They don't like mine. And yeah, that's it. If you have any questions about your performance evals, you can respond to the email that I sent out or Teams Meet, and I would love to set up a meeting. And yeah, thanks guys. Oh, yeah, unless you were notified in the email that you didn't reach the correct, like the score, then you're fine. It was 24 out of 32 points, I believe. Thank you, I yield. Where did you send that? Like, send an email from your thing.
Perez. Nothing crazy from me. Stipends should have gone out. Sorry for the little delay. Favor weird month. But yeah, if you have any issues with that, just let me know. Also was not small.
For making it work.
Got you.
I love being paid.
Yeah, yield.
And Speaker Lumen.
Right, I have a couple updates. This Friday at 10, we'll be meeting at the EMU Amphitheater, and on time we'll be taking this People's Guide tour. We'll be on this campus one. It's the new one that they added. Should be super fun. Would love to see all of you guys there to hang out and learn about UO's history. As well, Steve Mattal from the Director of Sustainability has reached out to me about the Willamette Valley River Natural Area project that they're working on. He is looking to meet with ASU leadership probably come week 1 of spring term. If anyone has interest in that, I don't know a whole lot of details at this time. Don't know if it's like physical collaboration or funding, but he would like to meet. So if that is of interest, let me know. Also, interest. All right, down. And just for as far as like traveling with orgs, if you ever meet with an org or they come into the office looking to travel, intent to travel step 1s are due by March 11th. So like next week. So we shouldn't be doing any more like surplus requests for travel or really any travel in general. So if an org asks me about that, then that, unless it's like in the summer bridge, then we won't be able to fund it.
Is that all travel or just?
That's through softs, like March 11th is the last day that any intent to travel can be submitted. And after that point, then they're not processing any of those.
Okay, I only asked because I think I'm meeting with them, so I'll make sure to let them know.
Yes, and if they're looking for surplus, and as of right now, we're not meeting next week. Not meeting next week, so we won't be able to fund any surplus in time because
really quick, no meeting next week, which was just said, but spring break starts for us. Your committee chairs still schedule meetings, so stay on Teams, stay in contact with the committee chairs.
To clarify, no meeting next week, no meeting during finals, and no meeting during spring break.
Exactly.
3 weeks, no meetings.
Our next scheduled meeting is April 1st. So, but once again, stay in contact with your committee chair, and if someone reaches out to you on Teams, please respond because we still have stuff we need to do, but we don't have to come and vote on stuff. I was gonna give an update. I forgot Secretary Crochet was coming today, so I was gonna give an update on the resolution. Essentially, they just don't think what we're talking about is important. I talked to Jim Howard and the new students at the Senate Exec Committee today about the resolution, simply just adding 2 students to the appeals board. And they basically said the students are unreliable. We're lucky to even have one that we have. They said that they think it's a privacy concern, even though there are already students that serve on the thing. Just every stupid excuse I can imagine. It was not as productive as I would like. So anybody knows anyone that's like passionate about this and wants to submit some like testimony that helps me in my battle that we'll have in the US Senate and Senator Stevenson have offered it as we try to get this passed next week at the US Senate, which now seems like it's going to be an uphill climb. So in person too. So if anyone wants to go and see that unfold, it should be fun. But Senator Madariaga. Sorry, Senator Smith and then Madariaga.
I would like to have prison ed program interns testify to that because we have very strict confidentiality standards and we're all students, and for years we've been able to do things like that and not break them, and I think students are very capable of that. And also, like, you just sign shit. Well, it's not.
And like I said, that students are honestly way more passionate about this than anyone else is. I can guarantee any student on this committee is going to put way more effort in than any pro staff or faculty member is. And they're like, well, we understand that. But once again, like, students don't show up, and like, you don't have this pool full of people. We're like, well, we've added 8 people to the full censor meeting with exec, and then they just fall each time. So it's still possible, but there's pushback happening. And
Oh, sorry, when did you say the meeting was again?
Wednesday at 3. And like,
Very interesting.
Say you also don't have office hours next week.
Oh.
I checked the Constitution and we're not allowed to have office hours during dead week, so.
and for the Senate meeting too, if you want to like bring people and just like show out, like that would help a lot. It's in the Redwood room at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, and I'll send another reminder in the Teams chat. And like, we don't have to go and like be like rowdy and loud, but just by showing up and just like being seen by people, it just make the clearance care about this. Okay, executive branch, VP Jensen.
The Diversity Action Committee had its first meeting of the term last week and is looking for cultural board leaders to join next term. If you know anyone, let me know. GTFF is having their first bargaining session next week, Monday, and we'll be holding a rally here at 11 a.m. The Latinx Coalition for a Latina Cultural Center is going to be going online in the next few weeks. The ICE working group is starting up. I believe it's a specific committee that'll be meeting on Friday at 10 a.m. I don't have the information, but I should have that in the update on chat tomorrow. Braden, the Secretary of Basic Needs, held a housing advocacy event last week, trying to get additional testimony about housing conditions and affordability to deliver to mayors. So if you have any stories that you want to share about housing affordability, please let me know or let Braden know. I'll have a sign up for that in the chat tomorrow. The letter writing event to ICE inmates was very successful last week. 87 letters were written and 50 people showed up. and hopefully we'll be having more events like this in the future. And then the advocacy intern Nate had a very successful clothing swap last week with over 250 students attending. It might have been like over 100 more students who were there, but we have 95 those 250 students. So it's very, very good. And then next week, the 24-hour library program is starting up again. That should be both 8 to 10 final speak this term. And that's great.
Johnson, we have a question from Smith and then Mariano.
I have a question about the ICE working group. How long has it existed for?
I believe it's new.
It's new.
It's like to work with the coalition that's been around for maybe a month, I think.
Month. What have they accomplished so far?
This working group is new. It hasn't existed. It's just to plug ASUO into the work that other people are already doing. The other group helped with the protest that was held out in front of Johnson Hall and is working to connect members of different student groups in like multiple center and on campus generally together to work on things in the future.
Once connected, what's the plan for that coalition of groups to do?
It's for them to decide. I'm not sure.
Students like organizing right now.
Yeah.
There's groups of like normie students who usually aren't plugged into these spheres getting together and like caring about an issue together in the MPC, doing collective action together. And like personally, I think that's like a really cool thing to see. Like people who usually wouldn't be involved in this way coming together and organizing and like fighting for something like better. And like even if it is like right now, which I don't think it is, like it's still something cool to see that like people are coming together like for working. Like, is that direction that could be talked about in like a productive way? Yes, it is. But I think it's cool to see more. They didn't show up to the MCC one day and they all got reprimanded for it. And it's like that's the radicalizing moment for people. Like we stood up for something that we our boss or like the boss, the director that we work with cares about us, supposedly just like chat on us and stuff.
Adrian and Max.
And I think like this is open for like Senate folks to attend. So I'll have more
Friday at 10 PLC.
Friday at 10. I don't have the actual location yet, so I'll include that in the chat tomorrow.
It's not officially confirmed, but I booked it for Blaze today and I put it, there's only gonna be 12 people there, but I put it 32, I think. It's in Swindell's. It should be.
What's Swindell's?
One
in the EMU. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought there was a new building or something.
Senator Mariano.
Okay, I completely forgot my question, but it was about like what was the update you said right after like the ice cream? Because stop that.
Ice working group. Was it housing advocacy? And
Thanks.
clothing club.
No, it's okay. I forgot. Oh well. If I think of it, I'll teach you.
Senator O'Neill.
Yeah, I was just gonna respond to Senator Smith. I guess I didn't necessarily know if you had like a judgmental undertone under that question. I didn't really pick it up like that, but just to answer what I thought your question was, the most recent thing that's happened, I'm in the group chat, and the only thing that's happened in the group chat is they just decided on meeting time, so that's it. And I move to adjourn. I move to approve Senate minutes from 2/25/2020. Second.
Motion made by O'Neill, seconded by Questenberry. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. And the minutes are approved. Motion made by Peters, motion approved. Questenberry, those in favor, aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Oh, yeah. Praise the Lord. Fuck.